Hi, everybody. Welcome to FNS Wrestling Podcast, episode 251. It is May 10th, 2025. My teenage son Jack and I are back down in our palatial penthouse studio to talk about another week of professional wrestling. We'll eventually get to in-depth review of AEW Dynamite, highlights of Raw, NXT, some trivia, some news. We'll have preview and predictions and our certainty scores for today's Backlash event. That is
which
always,
I care deeply about.
Yeah, Backlash is always one of the most
Not even that. It's just I don't know. It's not for. I think it doesn't help that Mania wasn't very interesting.
And it's just always a placeholder event.
It is. There are some interesting things coming out of Mania, but none of them are really on that show. Like Rollins is absent.
True.
I guess Fatu is there.
Logan Paul. Jacob Paul.
But
absent.
Jake Paul,
Yeah, that too. Definitely absent. So we have timestamps. You can jump ahead to anything you want. We usually chat about our lives a little bit here. I guess the most exciting thing for us is we are a few hours away from heading downtown to Toronto.
Yeah.
To the old Maple Leaf Gardens to check out MLP. What's this one called?
Northern Rising, I think.
Northern Rising. So we're heading down to check out that show.
So if you're there, we're also there.
Yeah, apparently Ghost Jam, I think, said he was going, right? So maybe we'll run into him somehow. I don't know the full card, I'm not going to lie. I don't even know if it's been released.
All right, off of memory, I know there's that thingy for the belt. The
yes.
20-person thingamajiggy doohickey. Right. Also, the two of the guys in there, I said, were QT and Alexander there have a match.
The singles match. And then there's a triple threat I'm pretty hyped for.
Gabe, Kid, Oku.
That sounds awesome.
Giselle Shaw and somebody for the women's title.
I think we're getting Gresham and Sabre.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
Tom Latimer and Stu Grayson.
That sounds less awesome. Also, we love Stu Grayson.
We love Stu Grayson.
We love us.
Tom Latimer's also there. He's done things, I think.
Our seats are pretty good, so I think we'll enjoy the show. Just hoping traffic.
There's another match Good Brothers and then Finley and Maloney.
Washroom Break.
Of War Dogs.
Drilla Maloney.
I just can't wait to hear that theme song again. I really hope they're still using that.
Yeah.
Did you see, I saw, because I was seeing some articles about them, because they just returned to New Japan. They were teaming with the Bucks against War Dogs.
Oh, yeah? I did not see any of that.
And so before that, their first booking announced was something in June, I think, against the Powers of Pain.
Oh my God.
Those Powers of Pain.
They're both still rocking, eh?
So I had to do a double take. The Powers of Pain.
Is it 2.0? They replaced them with a couple roided up guys? That's amazing.
But yeah, so I hope they have that theme song again, because I know it's your favorite.
It is my favorite. I just love it to death.
It's notoriously great.
Happy Mother's Day tomorrow to all the thousands of mothers that listen to obscure wrestling podcasts, I'm sure. I don't even think your own mother, coincidentally my wife, listens to this. She doesn't give us that listen,
No, she does not. She probably listens to it as much as me, which is not.
But I was telling you, our audio listener numbers are up quite a bit over the last month. The YouTube, whatever, stays the same pretty much. Doesn't really move much.
You think that would go up.
Which is minimal, but clearly we have faces for radio, as they say, right? Which makes sense.
Sounds right.
Right? They basically, I think it is, they see us and go, ugh, we don't want to see them, but we sound okay. That has always been my thing. Our audio quality will be good and our video will be meh.
Will be minimal.
That's right. So, I don't know. Anything else you want to discuss?
Movie good.
Oh, right. Did we not talk about that? Was that post episode?
No, because we had to do it early because I was...
Oh, yeah, we recorded so early last week. So you did go up to your friend's place in the boonies somewhere, and you did see a movie before you did that. And go ahead.
Swell.
So what movie was it?
Thunderbolts or New Avengers, depending on
what you... So it was well received.
The title kind of changed after.
And you liked it.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I think I'm going to try to see it again next week.
Okay.
Which has now ended up going with brother.
Your brother?
Yeah.
What? He's gonna go
because I was gonna go with the two chuckleheads from Sutton.
Yeah.
And I think he got roped into it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't care. I just want to see it again.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. I love my favorite guy was Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
His son. Love him.
Who's his son?
Wyatt Russell.
I didn't know there was a third one.
Yeah, I've only seen him. He was in 22 Jump Street.
Wait, is Kurt Russell's dad was somebody too, wasn't it?
I don't know.
So I think this is like a third generation superstar.
No, Wyatt Russell's pretty good though. He played new Captain America guy.
Yeah.
In the show a few years back, and so he's now that he's messed up and whatever. Like he's a little loopy.
Yeah.
Not loopy, but like he's not like the perfect good guy like Captain America. So guess what they call him? U.S. agent.
Oh, wow.
Get it?
Yeah.
Because it's the same, but it's not.
But it's not.
He literally wears a Captain America suit, but it's black instead
He hasn't
of blue.
ascended to the rank of captain yet.
Well, he was actually Captain America, like the government approved one, but he's a wacko. But I love him. He's great. And then you went to see Top Gun Maverick, right?
I did, and I hated it more than almost anything I've ever seen.
A guy named Bob? The character Bob?
Not really, no.
Okay, Lewis Pullman played him. He's also in this movie. Guess what his name is?
I don't know.
Bob.
Creative.
Well, he's Sentry, but the guy's name is Bob, so he plays Bob. He was really awesome. I loved him. And then David Harbour, he's from that Stranger Things show that I don't want to watch.
Right, that we've done. Your mother and I tried it, liked it, but never went back to it.
And like Florence Pugh's pretty good. I don't know what she's in, but anyways, it was good. It's like a mental health centric thing, so
yeah,
it was kind of cool talking about that. And then the third act was super different, which I liked. And then the credit scene sets up Fantastic Four.
Nice.
Which will be nice. Which I'm kind of nervous for because Reed Richards is played by Pedro Pascal.
Yes.
Which he's kind of
Mando.
Yeah, I love him in Mando, but he's also got a voice modulator, and his face is covered 90% of the time.
True.
So it's not really indicative of his talents. My friends hate him. I don't particularly love Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
And my thing is too that movie also is a Stranger Things guy, but my thing too is that historically speaking, Fantastic Four movies have been horrible.
Have they?
Yeah, there was the one in 2005 that was horrible, or pretty bad at least.
Why is there? Look at our video. It's
That's
gone
weird.
Super blurry, so I don't know if that's what it's gonna look like. But it seems to have stopped.
And the sequel in 2007 was pretty bad. Those are the ones with Jessica Alba.
Okay, I know her.
Yeah. And then there's the one in 2015 which I haven't seen, but I've heard that one's like absolutely atrocious.
Yeah.
My favorite thing was we actually watched this one scene from it when we were over just because it's so hilarious. It's at the end. They're standing at this balcony and they're talking about what to name each other or their group, right? And then the guy who's playing the thing, he says, I think we're pretty fantastic, and then the Mr. Fantastic guy says, say that again, and it's just like and then they cut to like the title card, and it's just like,
jeez,
makes me want to die.
Cheesy,
but it's so hilarious.
I'm glad you liked the movie at least, because you never know. And did all your friends like it too?
Yeah, Hancock didn't like it as much. I think the reviews definitely overhyped it a bit.
Yeah,
but I still think it was pretty good.
Anyways, I guess we'll move into talking about wrestling. So I got to check this video that looks crazy now.
It's also stagnant, so maybe it's not.
I know, but yet the timer's running on it. So I'll pause between banter and news and rumors that's coming up, and I'll make sure everything's on board. Otherwise, it's just audio with blurry video of us, which I don't think people care that much. So I don't
know how much it matters.
But let's get into some news and rumors right about now. So we did, in fact, lose video for a bit, but I think it's back again. So
sorry to the 15 of you.
That's right. 15 of you that watched the video, yes. News, what do I have? Io Sky is receiving internal praise as
I heard they love her.
Breakaway star. I love her, have loved her for a long time.
We're early to the bandwagon.
Later in my review, in fact, I refer to her as pound for pound one of the best wrestlers in the world of any gender at this point.
I would love her so much more if it was either NXT or AEW. I think she's still great, but just, our bias.
For sure. And so it was someone high, I think it was Meltzer or one of his people. Someone high up in decision making considers her a breakaway star, not only for in-ring but promos as well. And apparently everyone in the women's division, like backstage, loves her too, and has
I heard a lot of people like working with her
and have no problem letting her shine and be the one to carry the title. So super happy for her. She's amazing. And yes, she
doesn't seem like the type they would like.
So no, and her charisma comes across whether they let her speak Japanese or English or both. Like, she's awesome. So really happy for her. It's taken a while for her. Like, I know she's been a champion already, but this kind of feels different.
It does, I think, because I don't feel
the response
like
she's
it
getting
came randomly, and like her, because her last title run was as a heel, so I feel like she's getting a lot better reactions now.
She is for sure.
She was also stuck tagging for a while, which is why I saw they got rid of Dakota. Was that they didn't see, like, they figured she was either a tag person or someone like who's going to be jobber to the stars, and they didn't want to pay her that much for that.
If that, remember what was it, 350,000? Everyone, like, you think of every 3 people they fire, that's $1 million they're saving. Obviously, a bit over that.
If that's exactly what they're paying them.
Right. So it could be more, I guess, if they're saying that's minimum.
Or Could be less, and they're
lying, or that was a wrong.
I mean,
report.
the minimum could have changed as well too, because that was a while ago.
It's true.
I mean, I don't know if it has or like how that works, but I'm just saying we don't know if that's actually
good for EO. She's awesome.
Yeah. Taking us back to 2020, we've got a big old round of releases.
Yeah, I thought we would tackle like quickly our thoughts on each release. So give me the first one you've got.
So I'll go from least interesting to most interesting.
Okay.
I think that's how I've kind of ordered it somewhat. The one that's a little different is that Shotzi's contract is not getting renewed, so there's a bit of a difference there, but she's still going to be gone soon.
Which you would say long overdue.
Long overdue. I feel like she's pretty useless.
Yeah.
And if we're gonna get rid of someone like Dakota Kai, I think we should have got rid of Shotzi years ago.
You're gonna hear me say this a lot as we go through these. I think they know what they have with her. I would suggest she's almost dangerous for other people to work with, because she's reckless.
I don't think I've ever walked away from a match thinking, "Oh, she's great. She looked great. She was a good part of this."
It's
match.
one of those, she's willing to do anything, but she's not capable of doing anything, right? So sometimes it looked really sloppy or almost dangerous to herself or others. So I'm not surprised.
Like, the biggest thing I can say about my opinion of her is that when I had to watch her regularly, she was one of my least favorite things to watch.
Yeah, you were there was a worst of where she was all over it.
2020.
Yeah. So
or 21.
And she had like a different
21.
look, and they put her in a tank, and that carried her for a while, I guess. And then
she had the world's worst catchphrases and things.
Yes, welcome to the ball pit.
Welcome to the ball pit. A howl. TCB. Taking care of business.
Yeah.
She had that team with Ember Moon, where Ember Moon also had a horrible theme song. That was Athena, by the way.
Right.
So that's crazy where she's at now.
I know.
Then we got Danny Palmer. She was just one of those 2.0 era jobbers.
Yeah.
That really did nothing, so no thoughts there.
No.
Eddie Thorpe. I found a little surprising because they've been using him lately, but it also could be pretty logical.
That seemed like that. Remember, because we were like, it's weird. They're putting him in like the main event orbit. That seemed like a test run. And it wasn't well received, and he didn't really stand out. So it's kind of like, yeah, he's pretty good in the ring and whatever, but there's a bit of a lack of charisma and character there.
So he could go back to New Japan Strong,
and
or wherever he was before.
I don't think him signing with NXT was great for his career, right? He just spun his wheels for a couple years or however long he's been there.
Got a match type given to him, then taken away.
True.
Kind of given back. Got another match type given to him.
So he'll probably land on his feet somewhere, but I don't think the experiment at NXT was good for him.
I think his ceiling is TNA.
Maybe.
I don't think he would flourish there. Yeah, because he was on Strong for a while, so I feel like he would go there. Oh, that was when Strong had like a more consistent output. I feel like they don't much anymore. Because didn't Strong have like a weekly show?
I was watching it for a while, right? Yeah.
I don't think they do that anymore.
Yeah.
Then I'll lump these two together, Ora Mensa and Jakara Jackson. They split Metaphor and then cut the two they didn't need.
Yeah, it makes sense why that segment was on.
Because I was saying to you, Lash Legend has the look they want.
And she's improved a lot.
I think she has improved from what I've seen, and then she's got the look they want. Kind of like a Cargill-esque Amazon type, just not as ripped, obviously, but still big and like strong, right?
And she has personality, right?
And she's got personality. And then speaking of personality, Dar, I think, despite not being their mold, is undeniably worth something.
And Mensa has already been reduced down to Evolve, right?
And Dar's guy.
So there's no reason to have him there. And Jackson has a look that they like, I think, but
I don't think she was very good.
When you're watching, and it was one of the few actual women's tag teams with Lash, but you watching Lash improve and really stand out, and Jackson's just plateaued, so I think they were like expendable.
Lash could easily get into the North American title.
Yep, for sure. At some point. And Jakara was just expendable at that point.
Javier Bernal, big body
also has been at Evolve, because I've watched more Evolve than I've let you know. I've checked out almost every week a little bit of it.
That's gross.
And so he is there, but again, like, you didn't fit in at NXT.
He's kind of a 2.0 era jobber as well.
You don't really fit in there. You had this funny, ironic, like, big body Javi when you're not a big guy, but like
they made some big stink about 2 years, whatever. But then you have him and Danny Palmer rotting away, and,
right? Remember,
catering we're gonna since 2021.
It was kind of like they were like, we're gonna have high turnover because we're gonna give you a shot, and once you don't fit, you're gone. But that's not
okay. Let's segue perfectly into Gigi Dolan and Cora Jade.
Right. So
Exhibit A.
Dolan, obviously a pretty extensive indie resume, right?
She came in, I thought she was decent because I think we saw her all in, and like she was okay on the indies. I feel like
she regressed, basically.
I think she did, and then she came in just before her and Jane who's still there somehow.
Yeah.
They came in. The whole toxic attraction thing started in the dying days of Black and Gold.
And
so
then
she's been there since like at least I would say summer 2021. So it's been almost 4 years.
Yep.
She's still horrible. Her character's not really there.
No.
She had some misfit group going with Shotzi and Paxley, but clearly
Paxley
Shotzi's
is the one of that group that I think has some potential.
which is weird. But
Stolen just always kind of looks like she's again she knows how to do moves, but it's kind of like she's underwater. They're kind of slow
like the
and
character, the mannerisms are trying too hard.
Yes.
Kind of like JC Jane still does. Again, begs the question why she's still there.
So I'm sure Gigi will show up on Indie or somewhere else.
She seems like a TNA tag
I
division
agree.
person.
It's funny because one of the headlines I had this week was TNA announces signing 2 new women's talent, and I clicked assuming it would, but it was 2 people I'd never heard of before.
Was
Unless
one
it
of them
was
Mila Grace?
Yes.
See,
is that someone's real name? Because that's
No.
my only thing is like maybe this is the real name of.
But I saw her and I was like, that name looks familiar.
Who is it?
She's an NXT UK jobber.
Oh,
and
okay.
I knew the name was familiar. I don't know how I knew that, but I saw the name. I was like, we've seen her.
Yep. So you said Dolan, and who was the other person?
Cora Jade.
Cora
which
Jade,
I think is someone they invested a lot in.
They did, because obviously they loved her look.
And she clearly augmented her look
for hopefully for herself, but possibly partly for the industry as well. But she just isn't good.
No.
She's not good at promo. She's not good in the ring.
They tried the skater babyface thing. That didn't work.
It did provide us with the lasting memory of the cardboard skateboard.
I like to say, it's in honor of Rusev's return, it's the skateboard of sand.
Yes, it was amazing. But she's
and
just
her
not.
heel run was kind of boring, like lame mean girl thing
Yes.
with the kendo stick. And yeah, she's not.
She'll
good in
end
the
up
ring.
somewhere
She's
as
always
well.
been bad. She seems like a TNA person too.
But it's so weird now because WWE
is,
and
but,
TNA
like,
have this agreement, so it's like
they haven't acquired TNA yet, so TNA is still willing to take. If TNA needs stars, this is still good for them. You know,
I think it'd be funny if she's fired from NXT, hired by TNA, brought back onto NXT to job to people like she never left.
Here's the funny part too: is she was one of the ones who's already appeared on TNA, and so she's
is.
already reverted to a pre-WWE name, which I think is Elena Black.
Yeah.
So she goes to TNA. She'll have been there before.
Yeah.
But it'll be like it'll be like when Sean Spears came back to WWE, but he's been Ty Dillinger. You know what I mean? It's like and you have to pretend like it's
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean? It's really weird.
And who else just did that? Who came back with a different name? I thought someone just returned to WWE and was using
Elias.
maybe.
Because he just appeared, right?
Yeah.
And he's Elijah.
Yes.
And even the crowd's chanting "Walk with Elias."
Yes.
And it's like it's so weird.
So I find the Cora Jade one a bit validating because we've always been like there's been the odd match where like it was better than usual, but we've never really seen what the draw. Well, I mean, we see what the draw is to them. They're like, look at her, right? She fits this kind of skater
then, I
girl.
feel like there's better.
But yeah, she's not great.
Riley Osborne is out, so Chase U is now withered too.
Apparently, he was not happy with his.
But then I saw him refuting that, so I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? But again, another one who was like in NXT. He's athletic as hell, but he's really bland.
He's got a good shooting star, yeah.
Really bland, and he was down in Evolve as well, I think. So he's gone.
Yep.
The Chase U guys,
Yeah.
That doesn't work out well for many of them.
Kind of a surprising one for me is Gallus, because I thought they were decent value for NXT. They didn't seem like they were going to go up, although I heard they were going to, and then they never did. But I thought they were good value for the tag division as like veterans, and then they also helped train The Rock.
Yeah, there's something about them though that's just like
kind of boring.
Yeah. Like I like Joe.
I do like Joe.
And as like a mid-card fodder faction, I think they're fine.
That's why I think they have decent value. Like they're not going to go up, but I feel like there is still a place for them in NXT at least.
But they were in Evolve as well, right?
They were. I thought that was surprising.
So it seems like that's like it's starting to look like Evolve is where you're circling the drain, right? Like if you end up there, if you start there, that's different. But if you end up there,
starting there is good because that's how you get your foot in the door.
You're circling the drain if you end up there.
Yeah, if you get demoted to there.
Yes.
And we'll be talking about Evolve in a little bit.
Yeah.
The Rave Girls.
Yeah. So
Katie
again,
Carter, Chance.
Like they've taken two of the how many actual tag teams that exist in the women's division?
They have to be Old Yellering the tag titles
and gotten rid of them. So
because who else do we have right now? We have Liv and Raquel.
Mm-hmm. Long pause of who else. So there were times where I liked some of the Rave Girls matches, I think, in NXT.
Yeah. No, they impressed us sometimes.
But then also sometimes I'm like, they look bad.
But they've been there for so long. Like I think they've both been there since at least the Mae Young in 2018.
Both really small.
It's been about 7 years.
Right. And just like at this point, so that's perfect. You're saying 7 years in, they should be really, really consistent. And
I think they should be really
are.
consistent. They're not, and they're in a division that the company doesn't care about. So
Correct.
if they get cut and they're not showing enough improvement, I don't think the company cares a ton.
Right. They are really just taking a chainsaw to that division.
Yeah.
They're just admitting either we're getting rid of the titles or we're totally okay with it being thrown together teams. That's just how it works.
Because, like, oh, I could do the 24/7 gimmick with the... Oh, I should do that. So you can guess the fake... I'm doing that now.
Oh, boy.
Guess the fake team. Oh,
Yeah.
my God. That's happening now.
That'll work. You'll get me for sure.
That might even be even better because, like,
Yeah.
I could just make up the stupidest shit.
And it would never...
It would not face you.
It'll
Okay.
all be a coin toss.
I'm going to have to do that because there's some weird ones.
Right, plan that next week.
Yeah, okay. Because, like, who else? Genuinely, I'm trying to think who else is there right now. Because we have Liv and Raquel because they hold the titles. I'm going to look on their roster page just because, like,
That are
genuinely,
actual
I
teams.
don't...
Okay, who else is released? And I'll start talking about it while you're...
Okay. Next one, we kind of already touched on it, but Dakota Kai.
Yeah.
I really liked her.
I think, again...
I guess Ruka and Zarya, and then, like, Chelsea Green's people.
Yeah, I guess.
But, like, those are...
The Secret Hervis.
Yeah.
Kai, I like most of the time, but there's also... I would put her in the inconsistent category, too, because there's
Which sucks, because I feel like she used to be more consistent.
There's times where I'm like, is she good, though?
What about Bright Gray?
Right. Where are they? Bring them back. They're in Evolve.
I did see that, yeah.
I think.
Saw one,
I don't know if they're necessarily together.
No,
in
sorry,
Evolve.
Kendall Gray lost to Nikita.
They're both in Evolve, but I don't know if they're together. I can't remember.
I mean, there's such a burgeoning
But there is a
division
standout
there.
in Evolve, and I will talk about him later because he was on NXT, and I saw him have a match in Evolve and was like, damn, this guy is good. His name is dumb. His work is good. So we'll have to make some changes. Yeah, so too bad for Kai. I do like her, but again,
I think
it's one of those, they know what they have. She's not a standout. Bye-bye.
I think she can have really good matches, though, and I think with the mid-card titles, again, you shouldn't be cutting people like her. I think you should cut people like Shotzi, but, like, I think Dakota's got enough upside to keep her at least within that mid-card range.
Her heel turn was an indelible memory as well.
That was an all-timer, yeah.
Yeah.
But Dakota's been there since, like, 2017,
Yeah.
so...
Forever. And
8 years.
I think there is a bit of a... Is it double standard?
She's a little injury-prone, too.
But also in terms of, like, women reach a certain age and they're going to be gone, whereas men
I think I saw she's, like, 37, which isn't that bad, but...
For men, it's not. For women, they care.
They do care about it more, whether that's right or not.
It's not, but they do.
Then we got Braun Strowman, which I think is one of probably the most surprising.
Riddance.
Yeah, but I'm surprised.
I'm not. He is going off a cliff physically, and I think they see that, and I think
I saw he's hurt worse than they thought.
You're not going to be able to count on. He can't move. So I just a hot take. A key part of wrestling is actually being able to move around, and he cannot do that.
He just seemed like the type of guy they would keep, though.
And I've never enjoyed him other than the brief time where he was Braun Strowman lifts heavy things.
And
that
beats
was
up Roman Reigns.
That was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I won't miss him, and I'm not surprised he's gone because I bet there's a guy making more than the minimum.
Probably.
Right?
The one I care most about, Shayna Baszler.
Yeah, I'm
not surprised.
But I'm kind of happy she's been liberated because, dude, we say this she's
Their
always
treatment of her pisses me off.
It's come up 100 times on this podcast. She's my ideal candidate to go to AEW and just present her correctly. Bring Kai as her lackey if you want. Right? And they
were interested in her actually when she got released in 22.
She comes in and destroys people and doesn't lose until she has the title for a long time. And she is like the redacted of the women's division. Like, I don't understand why we're not doing that. And I don't know if Kai can speak for her. Baszler's not terrible on the mic, but
she's pretty good.
I like her as the silent killer too, right? And someone talks for her. Maybe she joins the Callis family. I don't know.
I could see that.
Right? Or Hathaway.
I was thinking that too, actually.
But I think that, like, we love Baszler.
I've always loved her. I think
so. We're gonna be like, grab her now and let's push her to the moon.
She has everything they wanted in Ronda Rousey, minus that main star appeal. But she has that MMA cross, and I always said, and I still think this, that she was a million times better than Rousey.
Yes,
I think Rousey picked it up okay, but then she kind of regressed, and she also was one of those people who just kind of did MMA moves in a wrestling match, but Baszler could actually wrestle and integrate things, I found, a lot better.
I agree. Rousey's probably the better MMA fighter, or maybe for sure. I'm not an expert, but I'm pretty sure.
But Baszler
pro wrestler
transitioned much better.
I also think, now that I'm thinking about it,
And character-wise.
Baszler opposing Tony Storm. Like Tony Storm doing the whole over and Baszler just coming in as a straight up shooter.
I like that.
And just having no time for her crap would be really, and getting the win would be the key part to that.
If Storm doesn't lose it all in.
Right. So I don't know, man. I'm sad for Baszler because she lost her job, but I'm kind of excited because I think she has to go somewhere.
I think she has to, yeah.
And just let her cook, as the kids say.
And I would probably like have her debut after All In.
Mm-hmm.
So then you know what the landscape's looking like. We'll see what the titles,
Mm-hmm.
who's holding what title.
I would love that.
And yeah, I don't know. I love her. I think she's great, and
she should be way greater than she is.
Yeah, her treatment ever since 2020 has pissed me off, where she entered the Rumble last and still lost to Charlotte, decided to vampire Becky Lynch.
Right.
She dominated Elimination Chamber and then lost at Mania in like 7 minutes.
She's so different and such a believable killer. Like, I don't...
It really wasn't hard to make. And then she had to tag... She was in tag teams with Nia Jax and Natalia at different points. Yep. And then...
You just wasted a couple that you could have done.
Well, you're not going to
Those would have been like the easy ones.
Yeah.
Because I might actually get those.
Yeah, well, because her and Natalia...
The Nia one I would get for sure. The Natalia, I'm not sure.
Because I don't think she won the titles with Natty. And then she was obviously in the world's worst women's faction ever.
Oh, yeah. It did last long.
Pure Fusion Collective.
Yep.
It did not. I feel like
PFC.
they formed, didn't they form last year or something? Yeah. Okay, that's crazy. And then Zoe Stark has to be done soon. There's no way they're keeping... I really like her.
Of the three, it's surprising she's the one, and I like her too.
But, there's no way they're keeping her.
No, I don't think so. It'd be cool. You could bring Kai, Stark, and Baszler in as just
that would be a cool group.
Killer group and call them something better.
Team Kick.
So that was the last one?
Yeah.
I only have a couple other stories because I knew we'd take a long time talking about that. So did you see, oh my goodness, TNA is co-producing a show? So
maybe.
They're calling it Border Brawl. And
I did see that.
They're trying to play off the whole, tariffs and 51st state.
I did see them advertise that. That's what I thought you were.
Did you see some of the talent involved? Because boy, this could be something.
Okay, hit me.
So featuring ex WWE talent.
Oh no!
So you're like, after all the recent roster cuts.
No, that's scary knowing TNA.
Fresh faces.
No,
including Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Yeah, okay.
That's on brand. Kelly.
All right.
Barbie Blank. Jacques Rougeau.
Okay.
As well as former UFC fighter Quinton Rampage Jackson. Why?
What?
That's the opposite of promoting this show, as far as I'm concerned.
I disagree. Now this sounds so horrible. I think I need to see it.
There is that. But you would be better off not saying anything. Just leaving it's the whole border brawl. We're going to have Canadians and Americans.
I agree
but
with that.
Not list any of these people. This is anti-promotion, I feel like.
Are they wrestling?
It says featuring, so who knows?
There's no way Brutus Beefcake's wrestling in 2025.
I kind of hope he is.
I don't disagree, but there's no way.
And I mean, Kelly was such an absolute ring general in the first place, who couldn't even run the ropes after years.
It's funny because I think her and Beefcake could be equally bad, because Beefcake's so incredibly old and wasn't great that he'd be horrible, but Kelly's not even that old. She was just always terrible.
She was just terrible.
So it's not even like she's got worse with age. I think she's just bad.
So TNA, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know how you think this can make money. It can't be worth the money you're spending to bring in any of these people. But anyways.
Rampage Jackson's a crazy one.
Yeah. And then I only have one other thing.
Another release on the other side of the spectrum. Righteous requested their release and have been granted it.
Release from AEW?
ROH.
Oh, wow. Okay. I wonder where they're thinking of going. TNA.
Honestly,
it's pretty much all.
I think they could do decent.
I don't mind their act.
I love their theme song.
Yeah, me too. It's awesome.
It's great.
It is. So you'll have comments on this. Authority figure Stevie Turner, with Evolve, announced the creation of the championships.
I had that too, yeah.
You told me about it. So I left room for you to talk about the belts.
Hideous.
I looked them up too. They're trying way too hard.
If we can put the image in for the video,
if I remember.
I'll send it to you. I'll screenshot it right now, because they're I don't even know how to explain them, because it's because the Evolve logo, it's the atom orbiting around or whatever, right?
Yes.
Or whatever it's called. Yes. And so they have that in there. But they use that for so much of the shape of the faceplate. It's so hideous. And then the purple on there is a decent color, but there's not exactly a history of great purple belts.
No, I didn't know it was purple till you told me. So.
I like the Cruiserweight belt. I didn't hate it, the purple strap
Yeah.
one, but I liked
I got
it better
used to it.
when they made it the NXT when it had like hints of purple, which is kind of what this is. But it's just like the shape is such an eyesore, and the logo, it looks so cluttered on the faceplate, and just the shape of the Evolve logo on the main plate with like kind of the circle around it, but it's still like the orbit is like the main shape of it, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? And then the side plates are so weirdly shaped. It's a hideous belt. The women's and men's are the same. It's just the women's has a white strap. You know, WWE. Why confuse people with different looking
That is
unique
the
belts,
branding now, yeah.
when you can just change the strap color or
Yeah.
the size of the belt, and they're so hideous.
It's
They're
like
so
they worked
ugly.
their way from it can't be a standard shape, let's go, and then they went from there.
We want the logo to be prominent. Reverse engineer a belt.
Right, unique.
Definitely the front runner for this year's ugliest titles, since I always nominate those.
Yeah.
These are pretty hideous.
You were happy. I said it's almost worth it to you
Almost.
to have them
The
exist.
champions will be determined in 4-way matches.
Did you see who's in them?
The women's one, yeah, because the men's one I don't think is out yet.
They announced one person.
Yeah.
So women's, they announced 3 of the 4: Wendy Chu, Callie Armstrong, and Kendall Gray.
So Wendy Chu's gone soon.
Right. She's circling the drain, as we say. And then the men's is Sean Legacy, and he's the guy that looks awesome.
There's so
I
many.
hate his name. It's such an indie name, right? Sean Legacy. But
the indie belts that WWE have now, it's so confusing their system, because they have these. They have the WWE ID belts, which aren't great looking either. But
does
they're
LFG
better.
have anything?
No, because it's tough enough.
Boy, I got to see a lot of talent from all these places on NXT this week.
Yeah. So I don't know. I've seen people talking about the new developmental system, saying like NXT could be the parent company, and then you have like different territorial
It feels like
feeder
LFG,
leagues.
Evolve, NXT.
But then you could also have AAA as like their Mexico league.
True.
But then to differentiate the leagues, instead of, because I saw someone saying they shouldn't call it NXT Mexico, and I kind of agree.
Yeah.
Because then it's a little more confusing. But if you have like Evolve,
don't you want to leave the name AAA? Like, it's got some cachet, right?
Exactly. And then those feed up to NXT, which feeds up to main roster. It's a crazy system, but
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm gonna ignore most of it.
You are. I have nothing else for news.
I have 2 more.
Go for it.
Juice Robinson is apparently close to the
Good.
return. He's been healthy for a month, and he's just waiting medical clearance.
We've
which
missed
is
him.
good. I say throw him and the Guns in the trios division, because Jay White's gone.
Yeah, that's true.
So get Bang Bang Gang back, and that theme song can start playing again.
True. I'd be fine with that.
And then the belt collector lost a belt. Monet lost the
did
strong
she?
women's title at Resurgence
2?
to AZM.
No idea.
It was a 3-way, and Mina Shirakawa was also in there.
Oh, cool. All right, so how many belts does she have left? I don't know.
Technically 2,
Yeah,
but it's 3, because
she
the one belt
has
is 2 belts.
right. Interesting. Well, at least we know she can lose, because she never will on Dynamite or in AEW.
She didn't even get
apparently.
pinned, though.
Yeah. Oh, they did that gimmick, eh? She didn't even have to get pinned. Is that how it works? They always explain.
That's
The champion does not even have to get pinned.
That's what I've been told.
All right, so wraps up the news. We'll move into our most in-depth review every week, a show that we've been really enjoying for about the past month or so. That's taking a look at AEW Dynamite. Okay, so Dynamite has been pretty hot in
Been on a hot streak.
in our estimation over the last few weeks. So let's talk about this past Wednesday night.
Kicking off strong, hearing from Hangers.
Yep.
Hangman.
No match into a segment, which sometimes bugs me, sometimes doesn't.
It's always a gamble, I find.
It is.
Depends on who you have. Not a hard gamble here. He talks about not understanding why the fans cheer for him after everything he's done, but it does make a difference. He said the last 2 years have been a special kind of hell, and he talks about what happened to him and his family. He wanted revenge and justice, and he found it. He took another man's hopes and dreams while claiming he nearly killed him. He said after the cage match, he thought he might feel some joy and closure after an awful chapter of his life, but he felt nothing, and he couldn't finish the job. He said he didn't know why, and he balled up the anger and leashed on anybody who got in his way. He mentioned Swerve and said he would never forget what Swerve did, and he'd probably never forgive him, but he's going to put it behind him. Basically baby-facing and leaving it be for now.
Yeah, I think that's right.
And he said he decided to enter the Owen Hart Cup, and he talked about being Alexander and Fletcher to make it to the finals. He said, double nothing, he'll face the guy who everyone says is the best wrestler in the world, Will Ospreay. Cue his entrance, and he comes out. He said it's the first time they've actually spoken to each other, which is kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm. Almost
And-
the implication of... I felt like he was almost implying like you were big timing me in previous places, sort of thing, and you were too cool to talk to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm.
I don't know. I think the way he delivered it felt more like just.
We just haven't.
Yeah, because it's Ospreay. And he said he knows how much the match means to Paige. He said one of his favorite moments in wrestling is when he showed up or showed the Dark Order leadership and what it takes to be a cowboy. That's probably one of my favorite.
We enjoyed that as well.
Especially the one entrance at Fight for the Fallen.
You're one of your favorites ever.
It's like probably that might be my favorite. It's so simple, but it's like, and that's peak AEW right there. That one entrance is just, that's the time. What a time to be alive. He talked about everything changed after Paige lost the title, and it's been a rough couple years. He said after he beat Fletcher, he saw him smile again. We haven't seen that in a while. He didn't lose his smile.
No, he did not.
Found it. See, reverse Shawn Michaels.
Mm-hmm.
He told Hangman that he's not losing a Double or Nothing. He said Hangman's been tearing the space apart, mentioning Christopher Daniels, Jeff Jarrett, Swerve. I would even throw Jay White, even though Hangman lost both times. He talked about how he's been making media appearances, meeting fans, and when the bell rings, he shows them this is where the best wrestle. He said he can't just take that spot back, and said it doesn't mean cowboy shit to him. He said it's not about Paige's redemption, it's about his ascension. Then they kind of get in each other's face. Then Callis and the boys come out, so people start booing. Callis said every day Ospreay shows him how stupid he is, and it's the stupidest day of his life when he left the Callis family. He asks Ospreay if he knows what he's standing in the ring with, and he calls Hangman a violent, mentally unstable sociopath who put his mentor in their retirement home, and he can't walk. The fans are chanting obscenities at Don Callis, and he told
They are.
Hangman, and Hangman kind of has to be held back by Ospreay. Ospreay's kind of got his hand on his jacket. And Will told Callis, to bring any two of them to face them in a tag match. But then he kind of stops talking. It's like Hangman's like grabbing his arm, like kind of like
it doesn't appreciate being spoken for. I don't think.
Yeah,
by Ospreay
and being like held back, like literally. Yeah. He said Callis said they couldn't even get through a segment without wanting to kill each other, and so he made the challenge for the match. And Hangman and Ospreay stare down as Callis leaves.
Yeah, I enjoyed this segment. I think like the contrast. So it's two baby faces, right? Like as you said, Hangman's kind of establishing himself as a baby face
and
here.
Everyone loves Ospreay.
But it's different because Hangman's like that calm, conflicted, introspective, and then Ospreay was the really intense, fiery,
confident, but like, not in a braggadocious way.
And like I'm getting my first run on top of this company before you get your second, right? You've had your shot. That too. And I'm going to get my chance now. It's just the importance of winning, right, is what matters here. So the two baby faces is okay.
Yeah, I like that.
It's going to be a fantastic match. I like the line about, it's not about your redemption, it's about my ascension.
That was perfect.
And Callis coming in, like, it's kind of on brand. Like, Callis can't let go of the fact that this guy chose to leave his faction, his family, right?
So he's still trying to mess with him.
He's trying to drive a wedge between him, and just kind of deal. So, I thought this was an effective opening segment.
I thought this was really killer. Hangman sounded really great at the beginning, and just everything he's talking about coming across as real and relatable, and he's just a great character. And I loved Ospreay too. I think he walks a really good line of like starting out nice and respectful and like cheering whatever, but then he gets serious and intense and ramps it up, and like he's not being an asshole about it, but he is like kind of asserting his spot.
This is high stakes for him, so he's got to be fired up,
right? So I really liked it. I like just the kind of range he has even in one promo. And the last line, like you said, was really great. I feel like we have to get another segment of this because Hangman didn't say anything to Ospreay yet. Like he did talk,
there's no response.
But that was before Ospreay.
He wasn't addressing Ospreay specifically.
No.
Yeah.
So I feel like we have to get that at least once. I think we have 1 week probably after Beach Break where they're in the tag match. So I feel like we have to get another segment of sorts.
And their match is going to be sweet.
Yeah. And the tag match next week should be sick because we find out it's Alexander and Takeshita.
That's the two I want.
I would actually
Fletcher, but
I'd take Fletcher and Takeshita.
I think Fletcher's kind of on another tier right now.
I don't like that it's not Takeshita.
I know, but either one of them is cool.
No, it hurts me personally.
Yeah.
Oh, cool because we did see Fletcher first since we watched him live.
Yes, when he was a child and you were a very young child.
But like Takeshita feels like a discovery still.
Or how old were you? 14? Was that technically what you had to say though?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Technically speaking, I would have been 12.
Was it 14?
It was.
that they had you?
It was, yeah.
That was amazing.
That
you
was
got
great.
singled out in the crowd because you
And
clearly weren't old enough to be there.
There was another kid too that I think they did after
Yeah.
as well. I remember.
Yeah, he's 14.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't like that. Not to cash anymore.
You had a crowd chant for you at your first.
Pretty
Was that
much.
your first?
I think that was our first indie show because that
Yeah.
was way before we
You
started
were a
doing
star of the
GCW
show.
and everything. But yeah, this was a great way to start the show, and I'm super excited. Next week should be great, and then hopefully we get another segment with these guys because I think.
Oh, you will. I'm sure.
I think the go home show we should have a face to face with them, and then with Monet and Hater.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you have to make it like a contract signing or something, like just
Probably
something to get.
There's only
them.
so many ways you can do it.
Or just do this again.
Yeah.
Like just have them come out and have like say
Yeah,
some
Hangman
words
can
and
just be
whatever.
like, I was interrupted before I got to respond to
Yeah,
you.
right.
Yeah.
And just have a way to get the finalists talk to each other and like get over. I feel like maybe you do a contract signing with the women, and you get like security there since they've already been
Sit
fighting
down
or
with
whatever,
JR.
or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Or Renee can like be a middleman or something, right? But anyways, I really like this. Then we get FTR and Stokely coming up to commentary.
Like straight into it,
Pretty
right?
much, yeah. Stoke is asking Tony if he had an issue with FTR. He said they issued Tony an apology, yet he still has negative things to say. He called him a decrepit piece of shit.
He did.
And then Shivani gets in his face. Stokely shoves him back down, and then Wheeler talks about Daniel Garcia. He warns them about what will happen on Collision, and Dax tells Tony to tell Nigel they'll see him on Collision the night after because this is a Thursday Collision, and Garcia's gonna face one of them in a match. I think it ended up being Dax.
Again, super happy FTR's a heel, showing edge here. Tony standing up for himself was a bit weird, but
yeah, but I get it. I guess Nigel's not there.
And they just like, I love FTR and I love them being heels. They need to get past this Garcia.
I'm glad we're seeing this on our TV.
Like, what do you mean?
Dynamite.
Oh, okay. That we get, yes. But we need to get past this Garcia business.
I agree, but it's a necessary stepping stone because like he's kind of their ally and like it's a good place to start.
Yes,
I think.
But let's get it started.
I agree.
Get past it.
And then I think I feel like we could do him and Copeland against FTR.
Mm-hmm.
Or people keep saying Copeland and Christian. I don't know how that's going to work.
See how we get Christian out of what he's doing right now. Unless
even that we get him out of what he's doing, because I think the payoff is natural. But how do we get him out as a babyface? That's the thing.
Yes,
right?
That's what I mean. Out of what he's doing as a face, because it doesn't look like there's any world where that's happening.
Nick Wayne's obviously.
And you can't have Edge turn heel, which you could have, but now FTR are heels, so you can't do that. So I don't know what they're doing either.
I don't know. Then we get, so I feel like it would have to be Copeland and Garcia maybe. But then we get Anna Jay and Harley Cameron. Oh boy. Jay asks Harley if Harley has her fat ass tonight.
Yeah.
Yep. She said that a couple times actually. She said fat ass more than once. Cameron said they have the TNA together, the tenacity and the aggression, but Jay said and tits and ass. Yep, that too, says Cameron. Jay yells, "Who wants to get choked out?" That's the closing line. Piggyback off screen. I can't stand this. I can't stand Anna Jay. This was bad. No, it was atrocious. Her lines were pretty lame, and her delivery made it worse. And the fat ass thing that she's been on for the last couple years, it feels so stupid and forced. Like she wants to be her thing. The tits and ass line was cringy. Like
I have cringy written down too.
This was bad. This was really bad. And this reminds me of the Harley Cameron that I hated before she started showing the talent and like being entertained. This reminded me of the Harley that I really don't like.
And I get that Anna Jay is taking online insults directed at her and trying to claim them and do whatever, but she's trying you've tried so hard now that it's circled back into it seems like it bothers you though.
Yeah, and
it's gone from like it doesn't bother you and you're going to embrace it to like you're shoehorning it in so much it feels like it bothers you.
And she's such like a lack of charisma and her delivery is bad and her
I did not enjoy this either. It's not working for me.
It was not good. But then we get to see her wrestle, which is the other thing I don't like to see her do.
This felt kind of random to me.
It is.
Okay. I was like expecting you to go, no, remember there was this, and this on Collision, and because that happens a lot.
It's an eliminator, so I feel like it's random.
Yeah.
But yeah, Anna Jay's not good. I don't like to see her talk or wrestle, and here we are getting both.
What have any of the three of these done to earn a shot at a shot lately? And then we have awkward silence, right? Exactly. Okay, so I'm not wrong, because sometimes I just don't remember things.
No, it's just
pretty accurate.
Feels like we didn't have our women's match for the week.
Yeah, and let's get 4 of them in.
Yeah, which I don't hate as like a way to shake it up. It's
No.
just it definitely reeks of,
Yes.
and like I feel like it's their way of like doing the number one contenders thing, but because they don't actually want to pencil in a title shot yet, they throw in Storm making an eliminator, so that if Storm wins, they don't have to give anyone a title
Right.
shot. Which is fine because out of the three people, it's Rosa, Penelope Ford, and Jay. I don't want any of them to get a
The
title
person who's
shot.
not in the match that shows up is more interesting.
Yeah, and even then, it's like they kind of wasted her.
They already,
title
they've
shot.
been down that road.
Yeah. The Thigh of Doom to Ford in the ropes just looks. I question Anna Jay. I really do.
It doesn't look impactful at all.
Yeah, actually,
ever. Not even like sometimes it looks like she drills it. It's now like she's trolling us and going.
Because like it would be a little different if she came in at a different angle and was able to hit them with like her boot like that.
Anything below the knee. But it's like she's intentionally going thigh now.
Because fat ass.
At first it was like the thigh was accidental just because she's not very good and precise. And now it's like, nope, that's my thing.
Or either it's her thing or like she's incapable of doing the move better.
Right.
It's like she is hitting people with the one part of their body that like I'd want to be hit with.
Would hurt the least.
And I don't even mean that in like a weird way.
No,
it's her ass. I
just
mean,
like a painful way.
If we're talking pure impact,
yeah,
that's what I want to survive the match. Like you could hit me with that all match, and then I could just hit you with one move, and I would be fine.
Yeah.
Storm with the fisherman suplex to Jay. Ford breaks the pin by kicking her in the crotch. We'll circle back around there.
We will.
Ford hits a moonsault off the apron of Jane Storm. Rosa dives on all three Shotzi style, where it looks like you're falling recklessly and hoping you get caught.
Mm-hmm.
Ford with a moonsault from the top on the other three on the floor. Ford misses the back handspring elbow in the corner. Thigh of Doom in the corner. Hip attack to Jane Ford from Storm. Then Rosa jumps off her back with a dropkick in the corner. Megan Bain comes down to take people out. Big sit-up power on the Jay. Then Harley Cameron beats her down with the comically large lead pipe.
Yeah, it is. Why? I don't get it. Use a crowbar that looks fine. Use a kendo stick.
Chair.
Something. Anyways.
I think it'd be cool if you used the Mad Ball that Ortiz and Santana had.
Yeah.
Ford locks in the Muda lock on Jay. Storm kicks her in the crotch, submits her in the crossface chicken wing. Storm gets the win. It was a fine opener, I guess. Like, it's a unique to have a 4-ways eliminator, which I thought was kind of a cool concept. And like, if we did one with cooler talent, I kind of like a 4-way eliminator to like have multiple people trying to get a shot and move on. Like, it's kind of like you say with the open challenge, which these eliminators tend to be, where it's like, if it's an open challenge, why do we always only get one person? So in concept, I don't hate the 4-way eliminator here. It's just the talent here is not great. Like, I think Storm's really good in the ring, even though I don't like her character at all. Rosa's mediocre at best. Jay's bad. Ford is meh.
I have like nothing Jay, Ford, or Rosa did in the first few minutes looked fluid. Like, you're putting 4 people in a match for a title shot. This should be like action, flying around.
Especially with the time, like this should be a action packed like the multi-man tags we've been getting and will get. Right?
And we had a couple spots where people are perching on the rope while other people are waiting awkwardly, right? That takes a little bit
Not even that we had multiple, but like too many in rapid succession.
Mm-hmm.
Because the 3 I mentioned were in like within less than minutes of each other, I think. For the most part.
The crowd got into it, but I didn't. Anna Jay and Rosa I don't think are very good. Ford is okay. I don't know what the point of this was or what they did to earn this.
Win and like,
so it kind of takes me out of it too. Bane looks dominant coming in, but like you said, we kind of already.
I think she should have been in the match and then just don't have her get pinned.
Yeah. So this was disappointing coming off of like 3 or 4 hot Dynamites in a row. That this first match was very like tepid to me. I would say.
Then we hear from the Hurt Syndicate. MVP wonders who can take the tag titles from them. They hurt people, but who can hurt them? Top Flight come out, and we also see Crew spectating from the crowd.
Yeah.
Darius says they don't die.
He does not sound good.
Not great.
Unfortunately.
Dante's a little better.
Yes.
He says they've proven they can hold their own with championship caliber teams. They just don't win.
That's right.
He knows they can do it again. Darius asks if they want to see Miracle. They walk to the ring. MJF comes in and beats the tar out of both of them. They're both bloody. Dante gets powerbombed on the apron. He shouts at Lashley saying he hurts people. Lashley will give him an answer next week.
Do you think that this has gone on this long for MJF to not join?
No.
So again, I
I
don't
don't know.
if I want that.
I don't know anymore.
And this is, we're running the risk of like too long, too slow of a burn, too copy and paste. Like every week MJF has to do something else and they just keep thumbs downing him. Like,
I guess
okay.
that's what maybe the point is, that they're just putting him through the ringer, but I don't know.
Love hurt business,
Like
but
the promo side of this was pretty short, and just to get to the angle, like Top Flight were not great. It was pretty basic.
and you're right, we can hang is like a euphemism for we never win.
Yeah.
Right? Basically.
They're really entertaining to watch. Like I love a lot of Top Flight's work in the
Me
ring.
too.
As characters, they're not great.
No, not at all.
And they never win, so it's hard to get invested. However, they're clearly here as fall guys for MJ's Crusade to join. The beatdown looked pretty sweet, I will say.
Yep.
But I hope he tries to hurt more people that are... let me put it this way. I hope he hurts people that are harder to hurt.
I was just gonna say, if he like, why would Lashley be impressed by him taking out like tag team enhancement talent?
I mean, on the other hand, it is two people and it takes out contenders for the tag titles. But to counter my point I just made for no reason, don't they want competition?
Yeah, I don't know.
So MJF taking out tag teams that in theory can hang with them.
Yeah.
Isn't that actually not like something they wouldn't want? You know what I mean? Because like they're not chicken heels.
No, they're like, bring them on and we'll kill everybody.
Right? Like I think the point I just made would have been more sound if the case where they want to avoid challenges like MJF.
But it's almost like they hurt people.
Yeah. So I don't know. I hope Max has to prove himself against
I like
someone better.
everyone involved in this angle. I just don't like the angle.
Yeah.
I think is where
I'm
at.
like indifferent to it because I like it.
Which isn't
in
good
parts.
either.
No. It's just like I don't know how to feel.
I know.
Then we get the lead promo backstage. Okada tells Kevin Knight to I think it was fly high, bitch, or something like that. I love him. Ricochet walks up to the Bucks, says he knows how to beat Swerve, and he trashes the others on the team. They're happy to team together. It does feel like a good fit, I think. The Bucks enter their locker room. Death Rider's there, so stuff's gonna happen, I guess. This was solid, I thought, though. Okada always amuses me, and I feel like Ricochet with the Bucks is a pretty good fit.
I have that exactly.
I prefer him on his own, but it does make me wonder if he'd fit in the Elite since Perry seems to be AWOL. I don't really want it, but I like it as this like kind of temporary unit, because I think they're pretty entertaining together, and I think like the in-ring chemistry's there, the character chemistry's kind of there.
I think the fit is that Ricochet is a really believable suck-up, and the Bucks are really believable as people who want people to suck up to them.
Yeah.
Right?
So I think the dynamic's perfect, and they're all kind of slime balls, right?
It fits better than Perry, to be honest.
I think the point was that he didn't fit, but that he was like...
right.
What is it? An end to their means against Tony Khan or whatever. So I think he fit then. But I think now, yeah, Perry could go off on his own. I think he could be like an affiliate, but I think Ricochet would fit in the group if they wanted to do that.
Yep. I think it works.
Yeah. Again, I guess the Death Riders thing's getting further. I'm open to see where it goes. I'm not particularly thrilled about that potential union.
No.
But I also don't know if that's what it's gonna be. So I'm open to it at least. Nick Wayne Open Challenge, it's the Rhino.
Again,
so
we've
comment on this.
Dynamite lately, and we're getting a 4-way women's that's not good, and then we get Rhino.
Because they're in Detroit, and
what are they trying to do
Christian. Here? There was a Spinebuster for Rhino for 2. Nick wins with a kill switch off a distraction. The crowd was not happy about that. Christian drops the belt in front of Nick.
So I thought the story was kind of Christian keeps setting Nick Wayne up to fail, but Nick Wayne keeps succeeding, but then Christian's involved in the match.
Because I think he does want to win. I think, okay, then, because remember you're talking about how he's keeping Nick Wayne tethered?
Yeah.
So maybe he's trying to set him up to fail, but then he's going to help Nick Wayne win, and so he's like, see, you need me.
Right. Yeah,
right?
Okay. I'll allow that. Yep.
And then, I don't know why he dropped it. Maybe he's like mad Nick used his finish or something?
Maybe.
But either way, for me, I think this is a waste of time because I didn't need to see Rhino, and the story was furthered minimally.
Yeah.
Like, it was furthered, and I still do really enjoy this story.
Yeah.
But it wasn't furthered in a way where I'm like, this needed to be here. I think if we didn't have anything this week, this story would be in the same spot.
It was local talent time, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Then we get a Roosh promo. He's back.
Love to see him.
He's angry because Kevin Knight cost him the $100K 4-way on Collision because throw money at people and they'll wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
Now he owes him that money. You mess with the bull, you get the horns, which the crowd, you could hear them it was a backstage promo, but you could hear the crowd chanting along to that. I'm not sure if Knight's feuding with him or Ricochet, but either is fine by me, and it's nice to see Roosh.
I agree, and I don't know if what we'll see the match on Dynamite or not, but I am a big Roosh fan. I think he is an awesome heel, so I like
it.
I like to see him.
We got Speedball and Dralistico on Collision, which sounds kind of good.
Mm-hmm.
I was telling you, I kind of want to seek out Ricochet and Helico.
Speaking of which, we'll throw that in here. We went back and watched the ladder match or whatever TLC from SmackDown, and Meltzer giving it 5 stars is crazy.
I think
was
that
it a good
and everyone
match?
overhyping
For sure.
it. I was not enamored with it.
I would
not
go
that I think it was bad.
4 1/4 stars.
I don't know.
And what was the line?
I will say this though. I mean, I've watched a lot of TLC matches in my life, and I would say that one was as vicious as it gets.
That was the line. I knew it was coming.
Actually, within the first few minutes, I think that was as vicious as it got.
Meltzer, who doesn't give WWE matches 5 stars and never gives TV matches. It was not a 5-star. I don't know.
I don't even know if I'd put it above 4 stars.
I would. I think.
I think it was like solid main roster stuff, but all timer no, and I think the fan reactions kind of overhyped it in my mind, and therefore hurt my viewing of it. So
good, not great.
I don't know. It was just. I was not enamored with it, but
and we like the people involved in it.
I like everyone there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited to play Machine Guns when the DLC comes out. I think Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Machine Guns will be fun to play. Ricochet and the Bucks then take on Swerve, Briscoe, and Speedball.
Yeah, Speedball.
Some notable Swerve put Speedball on his shoulders in an electric chair and then like launched him into Hurricane Run on Ricochet. So that was kind of cool. It was really fluid. Ricochet and the Bucks all hit senton on Tom goes in the ring. Then they taunt babyface to get back up, and the heels run off. Stereo dives to the floor from the babyfaces. Nick does the thing where he hits like a slingshot X Factor Swerve, backflips onto the apron, and then moonsault off there to Briscoe. It's just Nick Jackson doing what he do.
Mm-hmm.
The Bucks hit Speedball the springboard stomp into the sit-up powerbomb combo, and then Ricochet falls to the springboard for a 50 splash. Really just killer stuff there. Speedball hits a Hurricane Run to take Nick off the apron, and that sends him on the mat on the floor. Speedball misses a shooting star on Matt, rolls through, lands on his feet. Matt charges at him. Really just clean fallaway moonsault slam from Speedball for 2. Ricochet hits the cave-in again, nasty to Swerve. That was amongst a period of offense. It ended with a house call to Ricochet, Nick to the Destroyer to Swerve. Swerve pumps up for a second, house call to Nick. Everyone's down. I already saw people complain about how Swerve no-sold Destroyer.
Only for a second, though,
it's the adrenaline rush.
Yes.
Like Ospreay does that all the time.
It's not like he kept going. He hit one move and then had to recover.
Yeah. Swerve gets a hot tag flurry later on. Matt took a killer sequence from the faces, capped off by a froggy bow. Nick broke the pin at 2. Briscoe takes out Nick, and Speedball takes out Ricochet on the floor. Swerve came in the ring looking for a rope step move. Matt countered with a small package, and the heels get the win again.
Awesome trios match. I feel like the Bucks are like re-energized since
they've
coming
been
back.
Killing it, yeah.
Because I don't remember them killing it right before they left, but that's also...
they had some good matches because the private party matches were really good. Remember?
Yeah.
I think not too long before they left, that was the match against Ospreay and Fletcher. That was awesome.
True.
But yeah, I feel like they've definitely kicked it up a notch because they had the match against Jet Speed, which was really good. They had the 8-man tag, which is awesome. This was also really awesome.
And Ricochet again fits in really nicely with them.
Even just offense wise, I think it's perfect.
Yeah. Bailey continues to impress, and he really stands out in sort of chaotic matches like this. And we're back to a time where like these crazy 6 or 8-man matches seem to be happening every week, and I
this
love
used to
it.
dominate Dynamite.
Used to be like the openers all the time.
I think it's even better now with the crop of talent that we have right now.
Is this leading to an Anarchy in the Arena? Is that where we're going here?
I was saying to you, I think it's because I remember I called the shot. It was Death Riders and the Bucks against. I think you could do. I don't remember what I said now, but I know it was Swerve and a bunch of people. I think now it could be Swerve, Jet Speed,
yep,
Briscoe, and Omega.
Yeah,
because Omega and Swerve seem to be on a collision course with the Bucks.
And I sort of think there's more here
match
because Swerve was the one that got pinned, right? So
I agree,
and not Briscoe.
And I kind of like that because the Bucks seem to be getting the better of Swerve lately, which I think builds up Swerve eventually taking them down because they got the win in the 8-man last week too, right?
Yeah, but I really enjoyed this match.
I assume that we build up to Swerve and Omega against the Bucks. I don't know when, because I feel like a Double or Nothing we do Anarchy in the Arena, and then maybe on a TV special we do Swerve and Omega against the Bucks, because I was gonna say All In, but All In I feel like it has to be Omega and Okada,
Yeah, I think so.
right?
Feels like that's what they've been.
But this was a fantastic match, and notch below last week's, but that one was a mammoth match, so this one was still really strong. I felt like it got good time, and everyone got to shine again. A similar group of talent, but a really great one, just throwing Swerve in there instead of Omega or Kevin Knight. Can't complain there. It was just really great action. It really picked up towards the end. Surprised the Bucks got the win again, but like I said, I kind of like that. And furthers that issue with Swerve.
Yep.
And so I'm excited to see where it goes. I really like this though.
Me too.
Then we get an Ospreay interview, but MJF cuts it off. He plugs his Dynamite diamond ring, the replicas on the website. I thought that was really funny. He told Ospreay he wants him to win the Owen and wants him to win the world title back so MJF can get another easy dub and get his title back. He asked MJF if it'll be that easy, or if it's that easy, sorry. Why wasn't he in the tournament? He trashed MJF for being worried about losing, and he bragged about being MJF at Wembley. MJF said when they wrestle again, Ospreay realized nobody's on the level of the devil, but Ospreay said he is on another level, and then MJF left.
Yeah, it's like a lot of people have a lot of things going on, and I don't really have a problem with that. There's lots of directions they can go to later, and it's not always clear which way is next, and I don't think there's a problem with that, right? No one is on an island in this company if you're kind of at the top of the card, it feels like. So these different interactions make things feel more realistic to me, right?
Yeah.
Like I always say, like, I don't go to work and only talk to one person. You know what I mean? Like, the one person I have an issue with, like, I have interactions with others throughout my day. So I like this style.
Yeah, for sure. I really like this as well. And I feel like MJF has to get involved at Double or Nothing. He's interacted with both Hangman and Ospreay lately. He seems to be favoring Ospreay so he can get an easy dub again. But that could also be an attempt, I feel like, to psych out Ospreay and give the win to Hangman. And if Max does interfere, I could see him swinging either way. So I'm not really sure what the angle is, but I'm curious.
Yeah.
And I like that Ospreay got the better of the verbal exchange here, because MJF usually signs off with that line, and Ospreay kind of like came back with his what seems to be his catchphrase. So I like that at least he kind of got the one up here.
Got the last word.
Then Renee sits down with Daphne from Scooby-Doo.
She is leaning into it.
Yeah.
It feels like, which is a strange choice to me.
Yeah, the glasses were a bit much for me. And it doesn't work as a babyface, I think. If you're being Nick Jackson trying to be the world's biggest douchebag, then I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to make me like you, then please don't.
Yeah.
Like, if Nick Jackson dressed up as Daphne, I would think it's really funny.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if it's in 2021. But not Jamie Hayter now. It's funny because the orange of her hair is probably not too far off from the brown that Nick Jackson once had in his hair.
True.
Hayter said she didn't want to know the cheap, egotistical, obnoxious woman we know today. She wants the real Monet. She says she doesn't have the resume, accolades, match catalog, or star power, really putting herself over there.
Mm-hmm.
But she had more reason to hurt her. She says about showing Monet she's not untouchable. Renee mentioned Hayter's back injury in the past. I don't know. I thought she had a shoulder injury. She said she's fine. She's ready to go. Monet comes up, like, hits her in the head. Then Hayter kind of stands up and Monet runs away. She chases her through the arena. She tries to get her close on stage. Monet runs away. Then Hayter, dumb babyface, turns her back and taunts. Monet attacks from behind. Bank statement on the stage. Pose near the cup. She touched the cup. So maybe
the cup.
Maybe Monet loses.
I was not a fan of this. I like Hayter. Maybe past tense. Liked Hayter a lot at one point because
I still like her as a wrestler.
I thought she was trying too hard here, and it came across as unnatural, kind of like Monet does to me.
But I thought the delivery wasn't great, and I don't know if it really said much.
And then she also kind of looks dumb because she assumes Monet's long gone and just opened herself up to a sneak attack again.
Yeah, that definitely made her look
like
stupid.
She got sneak attacked twice in the same segment.
Yeah, but Monet keeps getting the better of these exchanges and touch the cup, so I feel like maybe Hayter wins.
Maybe.
I think her character's just missing something now.
It is.
I don't know what she had before. I think before when she was Champion 2, we were also building to her versus Baker, but then she got injured.
Yeah.
I have no doubt that, because they released, for the first All In, they released, because they've been releasing exclusive figures.
Yeah.
Like they did All In Ospreay last year, in like his gear. They released it last year, but it's his gear from the first All In. Point being, first All In, they released like a UK looking Jamie Hayter, right?
Mm-hmm.
No doubt she was planning to be big on that show because she was champion before that. And then they kind of hot potatoed the title around. Remember they gave Saraya the hometown win?
Yeah.
I have no doubt that if she wasn't injured, they would have built to Hayter and Baker out the first All In.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know what it was. Hayter would come down in like the fur coats and she had a presence and she was awesome in the ring. And now
she still does have coats sometimes.
Her presentation, though, just this speaking didn't work for me.
There's just something about it that's kind of like, I don't know. It's very strange.
It's too bad because I liked her a lot in her previous iteration.
And I still do like her, just not as much. And like, I don't know. It's hard to.
Part of it is they brought her back as like with no fanfare as like a.
They brought her on the All In pre-show, which I thought was kind of questionable.
Me too.
Like, we'll see, I guess. And I feel like Monet wins just because Storm's a face, but like Hayter also has history with her.
Yeah, I think Monet wins. Monet doesn't lose like until she's in that Charlotte spot right now where she just wins when it's all the time.
Yeah, and she's got the undefeated streak protection. At least Charlotte's like, I think Charlotte's worse because like she's lost a bunch of times, so we could see her lose. It's just they don't like to do that. I just saw her segment on SmackDown actually where she said, like, if the fans keep booing her, she'll leave and she won't come back, and then the fans kept booing her.
Nice.
And so I'm not sure what the angle is now, but it was something like that. Anyways, then we get Willow interviewed. She talks about her issues with the Death Riders. More people don't like them. Yada, that's good. Statlander comes up saying she wants to talk to her since Willow won't talk to her. She said she knows Chris's story and whatever, but then she suggests a match between them on Collision. That's nice. I won't watch it, but I like Willow.
It's like Stat and Willow is the budget female Swerve and Hangman. Like, it's just kind of like they're forever orbiting each other.
But they're actually trying to be friends or something.
Right.
Or Statlander is. Like, I'm glad at least Willow's not dumb and remembers everything that happened.
Yes.
But
and I like Willow. She's a great babyface. She always sounds good. They need to find something
Statlander's
substantial.
babyface turn just doesn't make sense because it was so random, and her thing with Stokely was so short-lived.
Willow needs some sort of substantial feud to get into because she's cool.
She deserves more.
So Stat, but like
I don't like Willow should have been in the tournament. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why she wasn't. Then we get Okada versus Kevin Knight in a Continental title eliminator, so another eliminator.
Mm-hmm.
Better one at least. Bruce and Jalisco attack Kevin Knight during his entrance and beam him down until Speedball comes down for the save. Knight's still fine to wrestle, so he comes in injured. A huge Okada hits a massive flatliner to Knight for 2.
That's right.
Sky high from Knight for 2. He counter Rainmaker in a small package for 2, then a backside for another 2 count. Jumps over a lariat, hits a Pele kick. Pretty crazy stuff. Okada got the knees up on the UFO splash, which looked really good because Knight gets such height on it. Knight avoids a dropkick, takes a couple shots from Okada, dropkick of his own. But then Okada catches him midair with a dropkick. The Rainmaker gets the win.
Yeah, good match. It needed like more time to ascend to the next level.
What it was really good.
Because these two would be capable of a great match.
Knight always looks really good, though.
The jumping over the Rainmaker to avoid it was a pretty cool spot because using his vertical leap to avoid a finisher is cool. And I'm just happy because Knight and Speedball continue to be like regulars on Dynamite, right?
Yeah, they've actually done a good job of like keeping them consistent on TV.
I'm pretty happy about it. Yeah, this was a good match, like a kind of short TV match. Pretty much if you said you're getting Okada Knight for this many minutes, this is what you get.
Yeah, it was good. No problems with it.
Yep.
And he also gets kind of protected because he got beat up before the match.
Right, exactly.
So there's also that. He was never going to win here, but it was good. And I'd be all for Speedball taking a shot at the Continental title if we need Okada to do something in the meantime.
Too.
I mean, I know they're tag teaming too, but like, whatever. Then we get a Callis promo. He says the Outrunners are stupid for challenging Roppongi Vice. Challenges them to find a couple partners and face the Callis guys on Collision.
He said RPG Vice.
I know.
Which I thought was strange.
Maybe that's their non-New Japan name.
I guess. But yeah, this was nothing other than a quick challenge for some show I won't see, I think, probably.
Yeah, I'm not watching that. Then the Hurt Syndicate get interviewed, and Lashley says the legal counsel has advised him not to speak till next week.
They just stapled the lawyer onto this now?
It didn't seem... This wasn't...
I'm sure it's going somewhere, but...
Yeah. Because they need advisement to not take a deal from MJF.
Right. I don't know. So...
I don't know.
I don't know what the plan is. And again, this will they or won't they accept MJF is running the risk of going a bit too long for me. It's feeling repetitive, and I'm not really invested, and I don't care that much if he joins or not at this point, so that's too bad because Hurt Syndicate are awesome.
Weird. Then we get our main event, which is Claudio versus Samoa Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Joe gets sent hard into LED barricade. A nice scoop power slam for 2 from him. He does that combination where it's the inverted atomic drop, running boot, senton, 2 count. Claudio pokes him in the eyes, gets a big run up on a lariat for 2, which he has won matches with. He also hit the springboard uppercut. Then the finish came when he went for the swing. Joe kicks him off. Coquina clutch, immediate tap out.
Yeah, I think that's part of this story, right? Is that he's been choking everybody out in matches, not in matches.
Then you have Anna Jay like, I'm going to choke you out. Then after the match, the Death Riders come down. But Hobbs wards him off the chair. Hits Claudio with that a couple times. Mox looks on from the crowd. And then kind of like how they've been taking out people with the neutralizer on the chair. Joe, gourd busters.
Looks good.
Claudio on the seated chair to take him out. So kind of a shot at Mox. And commentary made a good point too, is that like, if it was Yuta, he has no problem sacrificing him.
Yes.
But it's Claudio who he cares a little more about.
But he still did.
Because
he's a chicken.
Can't do anything about it. And I do kind of like it because it makes Joe and Hobbs look badass.
Yeah.
And it kind of gets them that payback from Mox taking out their guys.
Yep. I thought the match was good. Physical, obviously, 2 like very talented veterans, right? So
pretty short though.
A little anticlimactic because Joe's not losing ahead of his match with Moxley, right? But the action was enjoyable, I thought. And I think they're building up the devastating submission, so I assume that's a big part of the match with Moxley. And then
I imagine so.
Post-match, heel Mox has to watch Claudio get taken out. Mox lacks the courage to do anything about it because what's he really going to do against Hobbs and Joe with the chair?
Exactly.
And I'm sure Mox will just respond with extreme violence towards Joe in the cage match.
I hope it gets super violent because then it'd be interesting. And I'm hoping that they give this title run a killer match that it needs.
So a good main event, but not an amazing one because it was kind of short and it was kind of like, of course, Joe is winning, right?
Yeah. A little down from the other main events, but still a fine match. I'm hoping next week is good because the AEW cage matches are up to a high standard now with the last couple. Yes. I don't expect this one to compare. I just hope it doesn't suck.
Yeah. Overall episode, not up to the standards of the previous few, right?
Definitely felt like a step down.
Not a bad show. The women's match and Nick Wayne match didn't feel important at all. Trios match was awesome. Match of the night. Okada night was good. Main event was good, but not great. And then I like the Hurt Syndicate stuff I'm not loving. The hater segment was not good, I didn't think. Even though Cameron Anna Jay was really quick, we didn't like it.
Yeah.
I still enjoyed the show, and I thought there were a really good match and 2 good matches. So I went B-, but it's been B+, A-, A for a while, right? So a step back, but not bad.
Yeah, I was looking back at it, but I think I was feeling a B, but I think you're kind of right. There's a couple things we didn't love.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll drop to a B- as well, especially because there's a couple segments I really wasn't a fan of. But in the matches were like the TV title thing was a waste of time, and the women's match was okay at best. But I really love the trios match.
Me
the
too.
Main was solid, and Nia Okada as well. So like still some good stuff. Not a bad show by any means, but definitely a step down from the banner run we've had.
100% agree.
But it could very well be a blip in the road because next week I think things are looking good. We have the Hurt Syndicate segment, which is marquee. We have the cage match, which should be really good. We have the Ospreay Hangman tag, which should be really good.
Yes, it should.
So like next week looks promising at least. And the last TV special was the one that went crazy.
It was amazing. One of the best Dynamites ever, probably.
I would say so. So I'm hopeful for next week at least. It could just be a bump in the road.
Awesome. All right, shifting gears into some trivia. It's my turn to give you trivia, and then maybe next week we'll flip it around with your new idea. So let's talk about that now on Off the Top of His Head. It's Backlash today, so I try and be timely. So I got alternating best and worst Backlash matches, so we'll see. And I feel like AI has gotten a lot better at doing these things lately.
Yeah, a little bit.
Right? So I'll start at 15 and work our way backwards. So they're saying a 15 is the best one from Backlash 2023. Hard-hitting, bloody main event with strong psychology.
It was not bloody or psychological, but it was Priest and Bad Bunny.
No, that's not what
2023, you said?
Yeah.
No, yeah.
So maybe they're wrong. Gutsy babyface win for this guy in Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico. It was Bad Bunny and
was there another?
Priest
Maybe we're getting tangled up in main event. So
Cody and Brock.
Yes.
I don't think that was the main event. Because I swear to God, because I remember that's when they started praising Priest as like something. I swear to God that was the main event. Let me look right now. Oh no, they were right. That's weird.
AI knows more than you.
Huh.
Backlash. So now we're into a worst as we flip flop. Backlash 2022. And I don't, does this make sense? It says Backlash 2022 substitute, Raw feud aftermath.
I don't know what that means.
Chemistry never clicked and the slow pacing hurt the flow. Lackluster and heatless.
Ezekiel and something?
No. A now AEW guy versus somebody. Edge?
Oh, Edge and Styles?
No. They're saying Damian Priest. So bad you don't even remember? Didn't happen?
No, it was Edge and Styles, guaranteed. WrestleMania Backlash
All right.
2022. Because this was after Mania
So I don't know
38.
where the substitute Raw feud aftermath. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, Edge beat AJ. Damian Priest was barred from ringside because Priest helped Edge at Mania.
Oh.
I think this is where Ripley joined
So
Judgment
did
Day.
Edge face Priest on Raw maybe? And that's what they're counting that? Anyways,
No, because
whatever.
Priest would have joined him right by then.
I don't know. This is one of the best ones. Backlash 2023. Women's Show Stealer.
Oh, this is Io and Belair.
Correct.
I do remember them, or Io being really over.
They're saying that's Io's
then.
breakout singles performance.
It was a good one. I do remember it being good.
Back to a worst. Backlash 2006. Awkward gimmick match full of mockery, not wrestling.
Oh, is it the God match?
Correct.
Michaels and God against the McMahons?
That's right.
That's awesome.
Best.
It's an all-timer.
Backlash 2021. Celebrity Performance of the Year. So did you have the wrong year or something? Because it's something you've already mentioned.
Bad Bunny?
Yes.
No, because that was Puerto Rico.
So then they've got the wrong
What
year
is it?
here.
Bad Bunny and Priest?
Yeah, Bad Bunny, Priest, Miz, and John Morrison.
'Cause-
Backlash 2021.
No, Bad Bunny and Priest against Miz and Morrison was Mania, like the month before. Because at this show, you'll remember this, it was Priest versus Miz.
Right.
Do you remember why?
No.
Zombie Lumberjacks.
Oh my God. I was did he steal his
No.
clothes or something?
It was Zombie Lumberjacks.
Nice.
That was the show.
Worst one. Backlash 2020. Swampy Mind Games and Little Wrestling.
The Swamp Fight?
Who is it?
Bray and Strowman?
Yes.
No, that was at Extreme Rules.
So you're still getting them right even though they're wrong? I
Yeah,
like this.
because Strowman, if I'm correct, I think he faced Miz and Morrison, ironically. Or, sorry, Backlash 2020. I was looking at 2021. But I do believe he was one of those handicap title matches. Yeah, he beat Miz and Morrison.
I don't think you'll get this one because the description is
Bray's
weak.
not even on the show.
A best one, Backlash 2018. Rare highlight from an otherwise weak card.
Rollins and Miz.
Wow, yes.
Because remember, that was the one that was like a really good opener and the rest of the show sucked.
I don't remember.
Also,
sounds right.
if number one isn't the certain match, then I've been lied to my whole life.
Okay, that's interesting.
We'll see.
We'll see when we get there.
You'll see what I'm
A
saying.
worst one, Backlash 2016. Short and uninspired, this early SmackDown women's match lacked substance.
Becky Lynch and something.
No.
Carmella.
Carmella?
Natalia.
No.
Nikki Bella.
Correct.
I do remember them having a feud, yeah.
This is number 7. A best, Backlash 2000. Classic Attitude Era storytelling.
Triple H and Rock.
Yes. Very good. A worst from Backlash 2011. But it says substitute Extreme Rules. So I don't know what they're
I
saying.
don't think there's Backlash 2011.
Okay, so
Let me look.
terrible in-ring work and overlong story. It's non-wrestlers.
Okay, so when I search up Backlash 2011, it directs me to Extreme Rules.
Weird. Okay, so a match on that card with non-wrestlers that would be terrible.
Lawler
Yes.
and is it Cole again?
It is,
Yeah.
according to them.
That makes sense. That's just from a different show entirely.
So why are they just subs? Anyways,
Is it because it was probably the post-Mania show, but like that doesn't.
so they locate like the location of it in the calendar.
that,
made
right?
it. Anyways,
Okay.
Backlash 2016. First SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view of the brand split. Sorry, one wins the WWE title in a technical and dramatic match.
Styles and Ambrose.
Yes, very good.
That's worst or best?
best.
Oh, okay.
Worst, Backlash 2007. Slow, plodding, poorly received, a forgettable clash between two giants.
Collie
And
Kane.
yes, very good. Best, number 3. Backlash 2006. Thrilling triple threat with great pacing and crowd energy.
Cena.
Yes, and
Michaels.
no. At least not according to this.
Angle.
No.
Orton.
No.
Triple H.
Yes.
And
he's already
Jericho.
He's already come up in this. No. And he's in AEW.
Lashley.
Edge.
Ah.
Worst. So number 2 is this would be their worst one. Backlash 2000. Comedy heavy match featuring someone dressed up as a Hulk Hogan parody.
Oh, Big Show and... Was it Big Show?
Yes. And?
Rikishi?
No, not according to them.
Val Venis?
Nope. Kirk Angel.
Oh.
Number 1, best match. What were you saying it should be?
The greatest wrestling match ever.
Which is?
Orton and Edge?
No.
No, but they said it was the greatest wrestling match ever.
Backlash 2004. Brutal hardcore
Orton
match.
and Foley?
Yes.
I'm surprised they didn't mention the 4-way from 07 because I hear that one's amazing too.
But
the greatest wrestling match ever, though.
That's funny. You did well, even though some of their stuff was wrong. Wrong.
The greatest wrestling match ever.
Because they called it that, I guess it wasn't received as that.
No, look, the greatest wrestling match ever.
I know, but it wasn't.
It literally says right here.
But it wasn't.
No, but it is.
Has to be. All right. You did really well, even though there were some glitches along the way. Now we'll switch gears back to talking weekly wrestling. We'll highlight some Raw and NXT and what we called high spots and rest holds. I don't know what you actually saw of Raw this week, but
I also don't know.
We will start there, so chime in whenever something triggers a memory for you. Jey Uso starts out. He gets interrupted pretty quickly by Paul Heyman. And my first note is McAfee is unbearable during Jey Uso's entrance. And now the trend of the crowd demanding one more time and them doing it. It's just like, I think it was over 9.5 minutes before you needed to actually pay attention to Raw. Heyman is in super heel mode and he's playing the victim here, which I liked. He's basically saying Punk put him in an impossible situation. Reigns lost the title, abandoned him, and left him with Solo Sikoa. He says the title's all about power, and Jey has no idea how to use that power. Jey wants the title, likes having the title, but Seth Rollins needs the title. Heyman will do Jey a favor and let him choose where and when he loses the title to Seth. Uso, of course, because he's fighting babyface, wants that match tonight. Heyman was great, and commentary, in case we missed it, because they tend to do that. It's that leftover from the redacted era where the fans are dumb, so we have to point things out in case they didn't, it's basically like, oh, Heyman manipulated Jey into giving Rollins a title match when he didn't have to, which is what we watched happen, but they have to be just in case, right?
Make sure.
So then Heyman is backstage moments later, talking to Rollins about how the plan worked. Uso fell for it, and Rollins is like, I told you so. Rollins leaves. Heyman explains to Breaker how great Rollins is for beating Reigns and Punk, who prepared hard for Seth. But now Jey is distracted by Logan Paul and not prepared for Rollins, and Rollins is prepared for Uso. So tonight they'll get handed the keys to the kingdom. I like this as Heyman is the wise, scheming manager explaining to young Braun Breaker, this is how this works and what I'm doing. Right? So I thought that was cool. Stick with me, young fella, and I'll get you these kind of opportunities too, because I'm a step ahead of people. Right? It's kind of like he's treating Braun like commentary treated us. In case you didn't see what I was doing, right? Here's what I was doing.
Except Braun wasn't watching it unfold.
No, he wasn't. So I guess makes a little more sense. Penta taking on JD McDonough here. The commentary wait all of about 2 minutes before making fun of JD McDonough's head. And it was basically something along the lines of, we usually make fun of the size of his head, and then I forget, but it's but now you are, though, right? You are doing it again. Balor's at ringside to support McDonough here. Penta is in charge until we get a sweet JD McDonough Death Valley driver on the apron. Looked really good. He also hits a standing Spanish fly on the break. Balor and Carlito get involved. Doesn't matter. They get sent to the back. So Gable shows up to interfere too. McDonough misses a moonsault. Penta hits a destroyer for the win. 11 minutes. Good match. A little bit slow at times, surprisingly, and a predictable outcome since McDonough never wins. Did they drop the ball on his return? Because remember, he left and they went on about how and was oh, he's got all this respect now. The fans are really into him because they know he wrestled with a punctured lung and whatever else. He was basically dead. And then they just brought him back to throw him in exactly the same spot.
Yeah, it's what I was afraid of.
Right.
And I'm not necessarily surprised. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I think he got a decent pop on his return too. Like, I feel like people are happy to see him back. I'm happy to see him
but
back.
it's like
I love
right
him.
back into that. You take
And-
pins for the Judgment Day.
Yeah, at least Judgment Day keeps him on TV in fear
It
of him
does.
getting released.
Yeah.
And I do love his work.
Yes, me too.
I think he's fantastic. We've always been big fans of him, but that's why it's disappointing
It
for
is.
sure.
Not surprising, but disappointing.
Yeah.
Sheamus is back, right? He's the opponent for Austin Theory. And in a
I think
segment
they've dropped the ball with Theory too. Theory could be a lot more.
in a segment just before, Waller was afraid, so he tried to act like he was doing Theory a favor by giving him the match instead. So that's fine, I guess. Sheamus has been gone since the Rumble, they tell us. McAfee says that Theory has been a rocket ship on the rise for years. No, disagree.
Yeah, with the jet fuel.
Good looking knee from Sheamus. Rolling blockbuster by Theory. Avalanche white noise. Brogue kick. Sheamus wins. Kind of a basic 10-minute match to get Sheamus a win in his return. Yeah, so again, you think Theory could be used better than this? Probably could, but this seems to be...
heel, I think, because Theory is talented.
Yeah. This seems to be where he's positioned too, right? And I don't know it's going to be easy for him to get out of that spot.
Yeah.
But anyways. JD McDonough is mad at the rest for their terrible help during his match. AJ Styles shows up. He wants to give them a friendly warning that he's coming after the Intercontinental title after Backlash. Oh my God. I backed it up for you to see that, right? Like, he botched saying Intercontinental so bad. And was it, like, I guess not recorded? Because they would have had to go back and fix. Like, did they have him do that live, I guess?
I feel maybe they have now.
Because he butchered. Oh, I wonder if he went back and watched.
That's what I'm saying.
Although I didn't watch it live. They would have had time to fix it.
That's true. So,
but yeah, he can't say Intercontinental. And he has to try and cover by saying, I don't remember what he said for why, but he botched it really badly. So anyways, that happened. New Day are trying to pawn off the War Raiders to American Made. And the only note I made is Woods' hair was looking crazy. I can't remember. It was like, I don't remember what it was. But anyways, Becky Lynch gets in the ring to speak. She wants to be thanked for taking out the garbage, which is Bailey, and the recycling, which is Lyra, who she says is less offensive garbage, but garbage nonetheless. Lyra interrupts, calls Lynch the queen of recycling. Same moves, same tired old act for years. Becky has nothing to do with her success. Becky went on holidays, everyone got better, and Lyra made history. She's defended her title more days than Becky has shown up at work this year.
Yeah.
Right? Becky says it's not her job to help anybody, but to beat everybody, and she's great at her job. Lyra will only ever be the moment after the moment. Lyra says she is the first Intercontinental Champion as long as she's here. Becky will be second place. Becky attacks, they brawl. Lyra eventually hits the Nightwing, holds the title high, which may factor into the calculus for picking a winner for this match. I don't know. We'll see. We'll get there. I thought Lyra sounded better than usual. It's like it was less generic stuff and something specifically focused.
Like poignant to say.
And I think because she and Lynch are friends, Lynch is like, go ahead and like do what you need to do, right? And I thought her comments towards Becky were quite good here. And I think the actual story and a strong character go up against is helping her too. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's Becky going, listen, you're awesome in ring, right? But we need to get you, so I'll do it with you. Let's go. And I think that's cool of Becky to do that.
Which then I think would probably help to put her over.
Yeah, I think so too. And Lynch, I don't think sounded really good at first. Like she was trying a bit too hard. But once Lyra got there and they were interacting, I thought she sounded better. So I'm hoping... Because that's what Lyra needs, right? She needs more character development. And this was some
like
of
a lot of the AEW people.
A lot of them, yes. Roxanne Perez, in doing double duty between NXT and Raw, as she seems to do, took on Io Sky here. So lots of evasive maneuvers and flipping out of things to start. We get a drop kick to Io's knee. Roxanne targets that like she did against Ripley. Crazy suicide dive by Io, so fast. There's one coming up later. Someone else does it, and I was like, it pales in comparison. It was kind of tough act to follow this dive. Io's knee gives out on the bullet train, suplex exchange, Io butterfly backbreaker, missed moonsault. Perez takes over, dueling pinfall attempts until Io is successful on one. I think that's kind of protecting Roxanne, right? Didn't take a finisher here, got kind of a sneak pinfall.
I did see people praising the finish.
Really good 11-minute TV match. I think Perez's heel work and her psychology is so good now. She is becoming a complete performer. And I was one who was skeptical if she could be a heel, right? Because she seems like...
It definitely was. She had to find her...
Because she was such a natural baby face. She's so tiny and adorable and upbeat.
And I think her
and
heel
whatever.
run didn't start out the strongest. So she kind of had to find herself.
And it was that whole, like, I've been a wrestling fan and I drove 10 hours to train, and it was like,
Didn't she say people weren't on her level 15,000 times?
That was all she did at first, right?
Yeah.
And so now she's more rounded out, and Io's incapable of having a bad match. Again, pound for pound, one of the best wrestlers in the world. Roxanne surprisingly offers a handshake after, and there are no shenanigans. She does shake hands, but then a Julia attacks from behind. Perez is shown laughing and joining in. And I think Perez and Julia are a pretty cool heel duo. Like,
it seems random.
It's almost like they're invading because they are NXT people still. Although I think maybe the results with Julia this week are kind of her being like, see you later. I'm not an NXT anymore, but we'll get to that. Commentary refer to them as NXT badasses, so they're not disavowing their affiliation with NXT.
And their gimmick infringement on the badass Braun Breaker.
And I guess no one likes Io, despite our news report where everyone loves her. Everyone lets her get beat down by 2 people.
And people keep wanting to beat her down.
Right. Rusev, in his return match back with WWE, taking on Otis. Otis taps out to the Accolade in 6 minutes as expected, but there was a lot of offense for Otis here. So I'm not sure if this is going into the, like...
Rusev's going to fall into
redeeming people.
The shuffle already.
Like, I don't... Or it's like, see, I brought the best out of you before I beat you, because that can't be a fun gimmick.
Why would you want to? I don't know.
There was a nice leaping kick from Rusev. He's in awesome shape. Otis did throw Rusev over the announce table at one point, and again, got more time and control than I expected. Tozawa then gets in Rusev's face after the match and wants to fight, but Rusev just leaves for some reason. Then comes back to attack Tozawa from behind, throw him on top of Otis. Posts Otis twice, Machka kick, and then Accolade again. Officials have to come out to peel him off. So I guess he continues to deal with Otis and Tozawa, which is not like, hello, Rusev, you're right back to where...
That's questionable.
Yeah. McAfee in the ring with Pierce and Gunther. McAfee defends Cole as the GOAT commentator, panders to the crowd, sports teams, stakes, etc. He's always loved wrestling, been dreaming of this since he was 11. They both grew up dreaming of being in wrestling. Gunther is an a-hole who has lost to Sammy and Jay, so McAfee is going to show that this version of Gunther is soft, and Gunther will overlook him. Gunther mentions McAfee's daughter, like just kind of in passing, which I liked. It's like, I'm just putting your kid name in my mouth kind of thing, right? Which I liked. Assures him that McAfee has Gunther's full attention. He'll beat McAfee up, maul him, choke him out until he drops like a wet towel. Tonight, by his grace, Pat is untouchable, but this Saturday, only the grace of God can lift Gunther's arms off Pat's throat, which I thought was a cool line. Gunther shoves McAfee and leaves. So, okay, here's where we're at. Pat McAfee delivers a really good promo. I'm not going to say he doesn't, but he's got the Cody effect for me. I don't believe you. I think you're a dirtbag.
Yeah.
And I don't find you likable. You're a secret heel. I hope Gunther kills you. Like, I don't know. The crowd gets behind him. And it's this whole, like, I'm every man. I've been a wrestling fan my whole life. I'm a tens of millionaire at this point, if not more. So I don't know. There's a miss for me, but I'm not saying he doesn't cut a good promo. He definitely does. I just don't believe him. Pretty good intensity here from Gunther. A cool line. And then I found it really awkward because McAfee just like hops back on commentary and goes back to his usual shtick, right? After being in this segment. But anyways, another Cena Orton package. And my comment is I still don't care. Main event is Rollins taking on Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship. So I said right away, it seems highly unlikely Rollins wins, so I assume some sort of screwy finish to keep the title on Jey Uso for now. We have Heyman and Breaker obviously there with Rollins. Uso dive sends Rollins over the announce table. Back and forth, double crossbody, both are down. Seth misses a frog splash, counters a spear into a pedigree. Successful Uso spear for a near fall. Uso up top, Breaker gets involved. Rollins superplex, Falcon Arrow combination, and a partial stomp. Didn't get all of it, they say, for a near fall. Sami Zayn's music hits. He comes from the crowd to take out Breaker because Breaker's expecting him to come from the ramp, that sort of thing. Uso with super kick and spear, then a splash for a near fall. Sami gets speared out on the floor. Uso checks on him. Uso takes a spear as well, while the ref's distracted. Stomped by Rollins. Now Punk's music hits, so Rollins doesn't go for the cover because it's the classic, oh, I hear music, I have to stop, right?
I saw that made him look stupid.
Punk takes out Braun, then Rollins with a chair for the DQ. Crowd loved the match. They were really into it. I thought it was getting really good by the end. Jay's offense is just hard for me to get into, but they did some drama and storytelling. And then Sami and Punk's involvement makes sense because there's lots going on there. A lot of moving parts that sometimes bother me. It didn't really bother me here. And Rollins and his group just have a lot of different things lined up right now, right? And I think that's a good plan because I find their group interesting.
I think it makes sense for them not to go after the title yet because I think you need to address Punk at least, and then the Punk program you can stretch out till, because Roman's not supposed to be back to like June, I think I've seen.
So yeah, I think you've got to let Jay have a little bit of a run, as much as I think he is not a great champion, but they can't have him lose yet, right? So
yeah, you got to at least let him get past Paul.
I think so.
At the very least.
You will, yeah. And I really enjoy Rollins' current character. I think it's almost like he's doing one of those, he thinks he's a babyface, even though we all know he's not.
I like that, though.
Like, he's trying to improve Raw. He tried to spare his best friend.
He's helping Breaker.
He still engages the crowd with his entrance theme, too, right? And likes when they're singing it. So it's kind of like...
Which I didn't like at first, but I think it actually does kind of work.
He thinks he's, like, helping the product and helping younger talent and trying to spare his friends.
And he's doing the right thing.
Right? So I kind of enjoy that.
Yeah.
NXT, shifting gears. Hank and Tank and Hendry take on Dark State in the opener. So Dark State for this match are Lennox, Griffin, and Cutler. And Hendry hits a stalling suplex on Cutler early.
So no wild card this time?
And the baby faces, no. The baby faces do all of Hendry's like antics, when they turn around and smile, they're doing that with him. Faces dominate until Sugars interferes from the floor to turn the tide. We get a Tank hot tag, as we always are going to, and I have no problem with that. It is good. He launches Lennox cannonballs off the apron onto the others. Things break down. All six brawl. Another Sugars distraction involved. Hendry gets rolling, but Trick runs out to pull him out of the ring. They brawl their way awkwardly up the ramp. I hate that spot.
It looked really bad. I saw it, yeah.
Tank gets chop blocked and hit with the Dark State power bomb. So the heels win after 12 minutes. Like a fine 6-man tag, but unfortunately when you watch Dynamite a lot, it pales in comparison,
especially this
right?
week.
But this was fine. I'm not sure why the tag champs and the TNA champs have to be fodder for Dark State at this point, but maybe something good will come of it. Dark State so far, they have looked fine. I think it's smart to have them in multi-man matches so no one gets exposed, because I'm not sure how ready they all are for singles stuff, but they aren't really scary, though. They don't really feel much different than like any other heel group. They just get to win all the time so far. They're like thumbs in the middle for me, if I were Bobby Lashley at this point. Like, okay, they exist. They're not offensive, but they're also not like super impressive either. And Hendry just continues to look weak in WWE. I'm not sure how this helps him or TNA.
Apparently they're interested in him too.
I did see a headline saying he's
like
gonna
it's
sign.
not even like it's like, oh, you're a WCW guy, we're gonna screw you. But like, if you want him, you should probably
like start building him now. You could,
yeah,
but they are not, at least yet. Thea Hale is advising Carmen Petrovich to be strong backstage. Jada Parker interrupts. She says she warned Carmen about Adonis way back, and then calls Thea Hale a chihuahua and soft. Carmen says that Jada choked in her title match, so Jada obviously will take on Carmen later, and I just said Jada is awesome, Carmen is not. Thatcher sighting. He warms up for the Battle Royal, besides Sean Legacy, who has impressed me in Evolve lately, as I mentioned.
I didn't see anything about him in the Battle Royal, so I thought he wasn't there.
Inconsequential.
But he was actually there.
He was there.
Really?
He was warming up, swinging like the thing
was he actually in the match?
Iron Sheik used. He was.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Good for him.
No Quarter Catch crew are backstage ahead of the Battle Royal. They're all in it. So Heights and Charlie seem to be on the same page, but Bourne is clearly less enthusiastic, and I think it's like this slow burn at this slow burn of burn. At this point, I didn't know the results of anything, so I am very
surprised.
And I think he needs to stay with Heights and stay a tag team, and maybe get away from
I think they're a cool team.
Dempsey together, but we'll see. We get Zarya taking on Kalani Jordan here. So Zarya took this match as kind of the gatekeeper to Ruka. My assumption going in is Zarya wins, and it creates some awkwardness because then it's like, shouldn't she be number one contender now against her friend, which seems the route they're going. So they tell us Zarya is unbeaten in singles matches. She's overpowering early. We get an awkward counter out of the corner by Kalani. Ends up on the floor with Kalani hitting a Hurricane Rana off the steps. Ruka gets sort of concerned on the floor as Kalani gets rolling. She hits a DDT for 2. 450 is missed by Lani. Zarya hits a big spear. Moonsault to the floor, barely touches Zarya. You know the, like, Charlotte does it? It barely touches you,
it's
and
like
you land on your feet.
They're like landing on the, like, if they're
it's like you hit their one arm.
Yeah.
And land on your feet. That's what it was.
Or Charlotte's thing would be like there'd be 2 people and you land perfectly on like both their arms.
Yes.
Right?
It was not great. Zarya shoves Lani into Soul. Then Zarya spears Lani through the barricade, throws her back in the ring, hits the F5 for the win after 12 minutes. And I think what they're selling is Sol Ruka's kind of like taken aback by Zarya's like aggression and whatever here.
And so they're going to have those kind of differences.
Right. So pretty good match. Zarya looking better than because she's been hit and miss for me a little bit here. Lani working a little bit more as a heel. And I do think that this is like ultimately coming to Zarya and Sol Ruka.
For that title.
Yeah. Which is fine.
Yeah.
Wesley and his guys are with Tony backstage. Lee says Tony is less confident without the family. Tony says Lee has talent but no instincts. And I think he said something about Wentz did to you what Stacks did to me, because Wentz is also in the Battle Royal coming up. So he challenges Lee, who declines because he's in the Battle Royal. And I guess this is a new direction for Tony on his own facing Wesley. Wow. Amazing. Amazing.
No Stacks feed then? What's happening?
Right? Like, where's that going? But I guess
they're going to
they'll come back.
Maybe it'll be a throwaway match. Stacks interferes, I guess.
So I think we have to figure out what happened to Crucifino and Rizzo, because they didn't get released. So one's dead and one is in hiding.
Maybe they will get released.
Maybe they will. Lola Vice is talking backstage to Vicaire, sort of being respectful, but then also saying, I want a title shot. And she'll be waiting for it after Battleground. Julia shows up to tell Vicaire that she will see her at Battleground because she's got the match with Jordan Grace coming up, and she figures she's going to win that. Vicaire is fighting champion, and she's got a bunch of challengers lined up, so I got no problem with that. We do get the Battle Royale for the number 1 contender at Battleground. So the only 3 people to get entrances are...
I saw
Elijah. And then who would you guess?
Hendry. Is Hendry? No, because he wrestles. He interferes, right?
Yeah.
Trick, then?
Yes, and someone we like, Canadian.
Javon?
No.
Oh, Ego?
Ego Page. So good reaction to Elijah from the crowd, but not me, I said. Some Evolve guy, ? Thrown out right away by King. And then Lexus King, thrown out right away by Shiloh Hill, who gets a lot of attention. LFG, I think, guy.
Yeah. He was big. In that segment with Oba the other week.
Right. Dempsey wanted help from Bourne, but Bourne turned away and Dempsey got eliminated by Elijah. So there are some storylines happening in this, which I always think you need to do to make it interesting. Briggs tries to boot Inamura at one point, but hits someone else, and Inamura sort of noticed, like, you tried to take me out. Thatcher gets eliminated by Paige. Oh. And I put Thatcher got no shine whatsoever. I don't even know if they mentioned his name.
I don't even know why he was there. That's so weird.
Yeah. Nico sacrifices himself to save Spears. Shiloh Hill gets more attention than most before getting eliminated by Trick. Jensen is an idiot and leaps over the ropes to take someone out and takes himself out too. Inamura accidentally eliminates Briggs when Holland pulls him in the way.
I forgot about Rich Holland. How did they not cut him?
Right?
He's been there for a while.
Everyone sits down like they're all taken out, whatever. So Holland and Inamura can sort of have a slugfest. Trick eliminates both eventually. Joe Hendry's music hits. He comes out. Trick's distracted. Elijah eliminates Trick. Trick and Holland brawl up the ramp. No, it's probably Trick and Hendry.
Holland's been there for a while because I think he was a jobber in like at least 2018 or whatever.
He needs to go.
He's been there forever.
Speaking of, like, we know what we have with him, right?
I think they tried, right?
Yes. Spears eliminates Elijah. So this is where finally, like, they've cleared out enough space for guys to work, and Legacy and Evans
That's
have
when Javon goes
crazy
to work.
sequence. There's one where
That rope rebound
he
up into the
bounces
German.
off into a German.
Oh my god.
Was
Javon
crazy.
is just so like I love Javon so
and
much.
Legacy did Fletcher's running kick in the corner looked awesome. This guy,
Gimmick infringement.
he has to have wrestled somewhere for a while because there's no way he's just started training. Because I saw him have a match in
for sure.
Evolve where I'm
I
like,
assume
damn,
They probably
this
picked
dude's
him up
good.
through the ID program.
He's really good. So he ends up getting eliminated by Evans as Page is kind of holding the rope down. So our final four is Bourne, Page, Spears, and Evans. So Evans gets so close to being eliminated many times, hits a double cutter, and Spears and Page finally eliminate him. Page double crosses Spears. Spears is close to being eliminated. Bourne drop kicks Page. It takes out Page going over the ropes, and it knocks Spears out as well. So Bourne wins.
Which is weird.
The other no quarters celebrate other than Dempsey, who's just kind of slow clapping on the floor. I was shocked by this. I was not expecting.
I would bet Evans out of those four.
Absolutely, right?
Or maybe Ego.
I see it's, and I'll talk about it in a minute, I guess. It was better than average battle royal. You had some stories developing and furthering in the beginning when it's all cluttered. And then once it freed up, you had Legacy and Evans, I thought. And the finish was kind of cool as well. I'm not a big fan of battle royals, but this was pretty entertaining, I have to admit. And yes, Bourne winning is shocking to me, pretty much.
It's interesting, though. This could be like a testing the waters thing, though, especially because he's like their proto Orton.
So I think that's it as well, that they're basically, we've said it before, they've sort of protected Oba in these multi-man matches, and he even says later he's done with triple threats, which I think, so it's kind of like, I think they're testing out two things at the same time here.
Which I feel like is a bit of an odd strategy. I would have put
Could be dangerous.
If you're testing out Oba in a singles match, then I would have picked Ego.
Right, so you're like, can Oba not
only work a singles a good singles match, and also kind of carry someone,
right,
or at least like carry a bulk of the load.
But I also think like that's kind of what developmental's for. So I get what they're doing here, right? Like, let's see Bourne in main event adjacent.
I would have then personally done Bourne against Saints.
Yeah.
Because Saints is experienced and he could carry him decently. Would get Bourne that singles title match exposure. And then Oba, I think, would benefit from more either Ego or Spears. Preferably Ego, but either one, really.
And Bourne's been looking good. Like, he is a good performer. So, and they're letting him speak more despite obviously his issues with hearing things, which comes up in a little bit here.
When does it not?
So Izzy Dame interrupts a Jordan Grace interview, and then Lash Legend comes up from the other side. And my God, Jordan Grace looks so tiny, because even though she is an absolute jack show, she is 5'3", and Lash is like huge.
Yeah,
and Izzy Dame is huge.
Because Jordan Grace is like jack, but she's short.
Very short. She and Gresham are like the same size.
That's
like
why
5'3" or 4" or whatever. Basically, they all want gold. Jordan Grace says she'll see them both on the other side of the battleground because she's confident she'll win the main event and go on as well. We then get Jada Parker versus Carmen Petrovic. I thought there was a sloppy leg drop by Carmen where it looks like she basically just sat on Jada Parker's face. There it is. Carmen's dive to the floor looked like a slow motion after seeing EO's a bit earlier, because I kind of watched these two shows back to back. So it was like, does not look good compared. Back elbow running blockbuster by Jada. Corner butt drop, twisting neck breaker. Quick run for Petrovic there. She misses a tornado kick. Parker wins with the hypnotic. 4 minutes only. Parker continues the beat down after the match. Thea Hale comes out to help and catches a stray hypnotic. So obviously the right outcome. Build Jada's momentum. Kind of basic match. Obviously Thea Hale's next, right? Which could be an interesting dynamic, like the slower power-based Parker against the hyper
grown-ass woman
submission from the grown-ass woman. Ava's mad at Joe Hendry. She makes a match for Battleground, and it's for the TNA title. Contract signing next week.
So crazy.
Does not appeal to me.
But it's insane.
Yeah,
the TNA title on like a PLE or WWE show is just, it's crazy.
Fresh off not being released, OTM get a vignette. And it's them again. It's the part that makes me laugh is they flash back to them as little kids. So they have like actors playing them as kids because they've known each other. They've been up and down these roads, I guess. So they let the noise die down and got sloppy. Now they're up and coming back. Cool.
I mean, if they were better, I would
I
say
don't know why
put them up against Hank and Tank and they could win the titles eventually. But
I don't know why they couldn't have kept them with Parker, where she could be a strong singles person and
Why
talk for
aren't they
them
still
because
doing
they're
that?
rough. And like, they're
Are they
just an
not?
intimidating
They're not
group.
doing that anymore?
No, it doesn't seem like it. They're kind of separate, but I guess we'll see. But there was no acknowledgement of them with each other anymore. Inamura is leaving, and you know how you know it's for real? He gave Briggs the vest back.
My favorite thing was when Jack Stars in NXT UK was like obsessed with the vest.
Yes.
He'd,
Whose
like,
vest
wrestle
was
with
it?
him and Mastiff.
Matt, there it is. I could picture
Dave
him. I'm like,
Mastiff,
what?
yeah,
He's
the
like
big,
Otis
the
size.
big dude with the beard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did the cannonball.
He says he wishes he could have been a better partner to Briggs, and then sort of Jensen walks by and says he knows that feeling. Briggs always thinks it's his partner, but maybe the problem has always been Briggs.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to tell you because Spears and Jensen are obviously in the game.
Yeah.
But obviously Nico's too new. So I did make the calling. I just put Briggs in there.
Yeah. I like Briggs. I don't know. Remember, it was like he broke up with Jensen to go off on his own and then immediately formed another tag team with Inamura.
It's like he wanted to do his own thing, but then the principal gave him the new foreign exchange student to show around.
Right. So we'll see where that goes. Dempsey assumes that he'll be the one facing Oba. It's just like you won for the group and I'm the best one in the group, so I'll be
Born versus Oba will be so weird, actually.
And Bourne's like, I know I'm hard of hearing, but what did you just say? So he gets it right there. And then Oba walks up and is impressed with Bourne. Dempsey says it'll be him because he's the leader of the group. Bourne says it's his title shot, but Bourne says Dempsey can show him how it's done next week. And then he suggests a triple threat if Dempsey wins the match against Oba. And Oba says he's done with triple threats and walks away. And then Dempsey says that Bourne has selective hearing. And Bourne goes, what did you say? So they can't not do it. And I'm okay with it because it seems like Bourne is okay with it, right?
Because he was making jokes about it on Twitter and whatever. Yeah.
So I'm okay with them doing it. Good segment.
As long as it's not like insensitive too. Because with JD, I hate it.
And Bourne is gaining experience. And I thought like Dempsey's good in the role of like obviously I'm going to get the shot because you all defer to me. And Bourne's like, nah.
Yeah.
Chase U, the kids want a new look for Chase. So he first tries on a basic quartered zip. He doesn't like it. And then it's a full zip warm-up suit and he likes it. And there's some line about they're like, you'll look great at ringside. And he's like, ringside? So I don't know if they're already teasing something like they think he's a manager and he thinks he's still a wrestler. I don't know. There's something there. Never ends well for poor Chase.
You want the university breakup again, so you just reverse engineer a new one, like the Petrovich. And
Andre Chase, will you ever win, right? Julia Jordan Grace, main event. It was very hard-hitting stuff here. You have Julia in control with strikes. Grace replies with some of her own. Grace gut-wrench suplex. Looks like Julia got dropped right on her head. They almost seemed, it's like they did one more move and then they kind of took a minute to make sure Julia was okay, and she is. And then Grace starts hitting her in the back of the neck, which I thought was interesting for a babyface tactic, like drop you on your head and then hit you in the head.
I guess gotta target it.
Commentary start working this into the story for us. Julia neckbreaker off the apron to the floor. Grace spinebuster countered into a guillotine. Grace powers out into a suplex. Strike exchange, and Julia's strikes, her forearms look really good. They look very snug. I'm becoming a pretty big fan of hers. Michinoku driver also looks like Julia lands on her head. Like I gasped because it's like, again? Like this girl's been dropped on her head twice here. But I guess it's okay. A Grace stalling suplex and immediate jackhammer for 2. Julia responds with a Northern Lights bomb and an octopus. Grace kind of like Alabama Slam's wrong. It was like a wheelbarrow German, I want to say. Back fist, Grace driver, and she wins clean. 11 minutes. I thought it was awesome main event. I wish it were longer. And I'm not sure if Grace was sloppy or safe with those moves, but it did add, I'm not going to lie, it added to the match.
Does she beat Vacker?
And Julia seemed fine. I don't know, right? I would love if they circle back around to this with more story and more time. It looked like a legit fight, and I think this Julia losing clean in 11 minutes is kind of like on her way up.
I don't think you'll see it again then.
Grace winning here makes sense. Should be a great match with Vicaire. Are you saying does Grace win? I don't know. Because Vicaire's been on main roster a bunch too.
A little bit, but
I think send Julia now and hold off on Vicaire.
Yeah, I would say so, because the division still needs something.
They're both great.
Because the division's been so stacked, if you send them all up at once, like the main roster's gonna get flooded a bit, and then also, I mean, you did release people, to be fair.
Yes.
But then NXT's gonna kind of suffer. It's gonna be one of those down periods where it's like
right, because the women's roster is loaded, but now if Perez and Julia are gone, as a heel duo, which is somehow working for me, kind of, even though it's random, right? But I thought a pretty entertaining episode of NXT this week. You said nothing of note really from SmackDown.
No.
So we're going to go into making our predictions for what's happening tonight, I guess. And it is WWE's PLE Backlash. Backlash, very few matches on the card, even
As
fewer
usual.
I am interested in. But I did actually put some thought into this one, which I don't always do, and made notes and everything, because
put minimal thought.
The certainty score has sort of made me have to, step up my game a bit. So maximum certainty score of 5, right? Because there's only 5 matches.
Okay, first off, it's Dom versus Penta for the Intercontinental title, which I think is a replacement for Jay and Paul, since they don't want to do that here.
Yep.
I'm going to take Dom because he's on a hot run right now, and I love Penta, but he's not winning here. I think they have plans for Lucha Bros soon, and so I think Dom gets the win. I'm taking this out of 4.
I am also taking Dom. I assume lots of involvement from other Judgment Day, and maybe that involvement furthers the idea that Balor's not fully included in plans and stuff, right? My certainty score is 3 for this one.
Okay.
Dom retains.
Then we got Fatu defending the U.S. title against Knight, Priest, and McIntyre. Fatu also just won his title, and he's on a hot run right now. Love Fatu. No reason you should lose, so I'm taking him at a 3.
Why would he possibly lose this title already?
I don't think anyone else needs it.
Certainty score of 4 for me.
Okay.
This could be another we're all right about everything.
Yeah.
I don't think we disagree on anything, but we'll see. I'm not sure.
Gunther, Pat McAfee.
Yeah.
I want to say Gunther has to win, and he likely does. But it's WWE, and I don't fully trust them. They just had him lose to Jey Uso, and they love Pat, so I'm a little scared. So I will take Gunther, but it's at a 2.
Okay. Good news is, with McAfee in the match, he won't be on commentary, so silver lining there. I think Gunther does not need to follow up a loss to Uso with a loss to a commentator. There's lots of speculation that Goldberg gets involved here. And cost Gunther the match, but I hope if he is involved, it's after.
That's why I'm taking a low risk here.
I'm hoping it's after Gunther chokes out McAfee,
if at all.
My certainty score's 1 because I'm nervous.
I was debating that too.
I'm nervous about this one a bit, but I am taking Gunther.
Then we got Lyra versus Becky for the Women's Intercontinental title. When I was putting this together, I was like, "What match am I forgetting?" It was this one. I feel like there's a chance Becky could win it, but I also feel like we have a potential for a good multi-match series here. So I'm going to take Lyra at least for here, and I say Becky could at least win in the second match, and then we see where it goes. But I think at least we should establish Lyra with a win here, give her a bit more time, and then if we want to put on Becky to establish it, I think that's fine. So I'm going to take Lyra but at a 1 because I feel like this is the most, either way. Yeah,
I talked about, I think Lynch is trying to help her friend get established, so I don't think that Lyra loses here. I think she extends her reign, gets a really high quality win. Maybe Bailey's involved here to further that.
That's true. Lynch. Becky could spin off with that, but I think we could either go multi-man. We could go a 3-way with Bailey too.
So I'd said certainty score of 2.
Okay, so we kind of swapped those two.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
And then I think we only have a certainty score of 5 left. I wonder what that could be.
Cena versus Orton. Cena's not. It's not ending here. So
Cena's not losing here. He's not losing on an afterthought PLE.
Or especially a month after.
Or to Orton. So it's Cena, it's 5 certainty score.
So this is going to be... The only thing that'll be interesting is if we both get one wrong, and then
that's the only way. Because if we're right about everything again, it's just a draw.
Okay, because it's interesting because we didn't... The only one we agreed on with points was the main event.
Yeah.
But every other one, it's a 1-point difference. So let's say... McAfee wins, then I lose out a little more. Or if Becky wins, you lose out a little more. Or if Fatu loses the belt.
And that's why I like the certainty score, because I used to hate that we would always, if I would sometimes just okay, so we don't have all the same picks, I'll do this. But now all the same picks doesn't necessarily mean unless it's a tie.
We're both right.
Unless we're all right.
But that's less margin for error.
But what show did we get 12 out of 12 or whatever?
It was Revolution.
Yeah, we crushed that one. All right. I think that's going to wrap up episode 251. I I don't think we're gonna love Backlash, so I imagine we'll just
No.
tack it on to 252.
But we'll also have our experiences from MLP.
We will definitely talk about MLP when we're finished watching that show tonight. So I hope everyone has a great weekend. We'll see you back here for 252. And until then, everybody, take care.